This is a hapless Gav Mack. Look at him with his handsome trim. Look at that. It's two up top. It's the watch-along, the live watch-along. Arsenal versus Wolves, or Wolves versus Arsenal. Peter Molyneux, myself, Gav Mack. I'm over the top of the screen. Got Alex down there. How are you, son?
Very well, thank you very much, mate. How are you?
Show me. We've got Martin Lewis, Wolves fan, over there. How are you?
Good, mate. You?
Yeah, I'm all right. And then Stephen Cotton, mate, off the back of a 5-2 slappage of Bournemouth.
That's all right. It's all right. I'm dying to get the hairdressers though, mate. So I'm just like.
Well, yeah, I got the trimming early doors. I was ready for that. Don't worry about it.
I'm not ready. I'm literally.
Don't watch them ones there, innit? Cotton, I haven't got your prediction.
Prediction what for this game?
Yeah.
I've backed Arsenal.
Really?
They're the only thing that can ruin my acca now. Everything's in. Leeds won, Brentford won, Brighton to win. This is Arsenal now.
Well, you're mad. That's what I say for that. What's your score prediction?
2-1. 2-1 Arsenal.
2-1 Arsenal. Honestly, I can't see it happening, mate. I can't see it happening. Cotton says 2-1. 2-1 Arsenal. Madness.
What's Martin's prediction?
Martin, where are you gone?
See, I went 2-1 Wolves, but I'm not comfortable about today.
Really?
It's a bit strange being the favourite for once.
I was going to say, what's giving you two reason thinking that Arsenal might do something today? Is it just the fact they've won their 3 previous games?
Not so much that, but I think the 3 games since we've been promoted, I think we've been the better team. I was at the home game last season when it was 3-0 by half time, and we absolutely spanked Arsenal. Mm-hmm. I think there's a bit of revenge probably on the cards, but I think we've 7 clean sheets in 8 games.
Yeah.
So we've got a good defence. Keep it solid. We've gone defensive, and got Dendonka in. Keep it tight first half, and
he's changed it up, hasn't he, today? Because he's actually starting Traore to drop Jota to the bench. Because I've noticed that since the restarts come in, he's had Jimenez and Jota starting, and then when the team, your opposition's got tired, that's when you brought Traore on for maximum effectiveness, because he's such a physical freak, isn't he?
Oh, he's awesome. He's just like that really did. I can't remember what game it was, but last week, and it reminded me of the apart from the finish, obviously, it reminded me of the Maradona goal against England years ago. The way he just sort of bounced off players and just kept changing direction. He's unstoppable on his day.
Yeah, I think we can all remember when he first came in. I know he came through, was it Barcelona's academy? And then he was on loan. It was at Middlesbrough, and he's had a spell at Villa. And he had that annoying ability of just running down into dead ends and kind of losing the ball. And that would be all he is. But now he's added a little bit of. He's added a little bit something to his game now, isn't he? He's actually able to complete his crosses. He's getting shots in. He scored a few good goals. I think one goal springs to mind was that one he scored against Man City when he came back from 2-0 down.
Oh, that was. Well, he scored in both games against Man City, both wins. So even last season for us, he's brilliant on the ball. He's exciting, but there wasn't a lot of end product last season, and whatever Nuno's done with him. They picked it up on Match of the Day last week, actually, and they were just saying, look how he stops. Look how he looks up. Look, he looks up again, and he's always aware what's going on now. Which I think you said it. He head down into the corner.
He had that a bit. He had that. had that annoying knack of, I'm going to try and run as fastly as possible all the time. But now, as you say, he's using his pace more effectively. So he'll draw players in and then he'll burst past them. It's kind of like what I like to call the Fernando Torres skill, because Fernando Torres had that perfectly when he first joined Liverpool. He used to draw defenders in all the time and then just explode past them, and he'd be well clear of them. Kind of like Pulisic did to Man City for his goal the other day. He drew. I know Mendy made a mistake to give him the ball to begin with, but then Pulisic drew him in, and then all of a sudden he just exploded past him, and he's through on goal, isn't he? So I think Troy always just needed a lot of games just to work out what to do.
And also, I think there's I think there's going to be a lot of credit for our manager. I think I don't think there's many players that we've got that haven't been improved playing under him. I mean, look at the likes of Conor Cody. We bought him from Huddersfield. I think back in the day at Liverpool, when he was a kid, I think they were talking about him being the next Gerrard. And he sort of, it didn't really work for him, and he was at Huddersfield, and we bought him quite cheaply. And look at him now; he's not missed a Premier League game in 2 years. He's played so many minutes and never makes a mistake. Probably 2 or 3 mistakes in 2 seasons, and that's just down to our manager. I think we're really clear on our system.
Well, I was going to say you've got a system that's well versed that you've been playing now for what? How long's Nuno been manager? What? This is his 3rd season, or is it 4th season?
We've just gone past 3 years, I think.
Just gone 3 years, yeah. So it's very similar to what Sheffield United have with Chris Wilder. So they're very much the players have all bought in, and you've made some shrewd recruitment with the João Moutinho pickup, obviously the Ruben Neves pickup. I'm a big fan of Diogo Jota. I really like him. And I think Raul Jimenez is another great signing. But if you talk my man Gav here, him and Cotton both weren't big fans of that signing when he first came in.
It's like I kind of did it at the same sort of time when I wanted to talk about this as well, because at the end of the day, I was not a big fan of him at all. But what can you do?
I don't think there's many better centre forwards in the Premier League than him right now.
No. Hey, look, there's no 2 ways about it. He's brilliant. What a great striker he is. But when he first came over, I weren't really feeling it. I weren't fancying him at all. Have you done your prediction yet, Alex?
I think 1-1.
Yeah, I literally can't see an Arsenal win. And when they play against a decent side, look, I'm an Arsenal fan, but I'm a realist, and I can't see anything other than a Wolves win. I've gone with a 2-0 Wolves win.
I would feel a lot more confident if Pepe was playing, but as the news has come through, his wife or his girlfriend has gone into labour, so he's actually there for the birth of his child. Which, fair enough.
It's a bit selfish of
Right.
Well, here's the thing.
She would have known that this is pre-season. So at the end of the day, this is the perfect time. But
fair point.
Right, we have got less than 4 minutes till kick-off. So I want to go through the team lineups, and then I want to get Martin's opinion on the Wolves side first of all. So Wolves are going with their standard sort of formation.
One of the 2.
They have a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2. They've got a 3-5-3 today, a 3-5-2 today. Patricio in goal, and then they've got Saiz, Cody, and Bodie at the back. Wing backs are Johnny and Doherty. In the middle of the park, they've got Neves, Moutinho, Dendoncker. And then they've got Raul Jimenez and Adama Traore up top. Martin, what do you think of that?
Well, the first thing I think is, can't wait. I haven't seen the Arsenal team, actually. Is Luis playing?
I've got an Arsenal team. We'll talk about yours first. We'll talk about the Arsenal.
No, but I'm really looking forward to see Traore against Luis. That's, yeah, looking forward to that. I think, it's a bit of a surprise. We normally play, we normally start Jota, Jimenez up front, or the 3 of them, and drop Dendoncker. But Dendoncker was absolutely awesome last game. So I think he's
scored a lovely goal.
He did. But he was the man of the match. He was all over the place.
And
he's one of those. He looks like he's not even trying, but he's covering so much ground, and I guess he's our mule. He's our when Chelsea won the league, and it was Kante was. He's doing that. He's putting so many yards in and letting Neves and Moutinho, spray their balls all over the place and look pretty.
Yeah, I think that's the strongest side that you can sort of put out at the moment. The only person missing, if you want to say, is Neto. But then who would you replace Neto with?
I think Neto's he's a young kid still. I'm so excited by Neto. He's going to be amazing. We're going to sell him for 50 million. I'm absolutely sure.
And that's how you make the money. Let's look for the Arsenal side. Yeah. Arsenal gone with 3-4-3. They've gone Emi Martinez in between the sticks, obviously because of the injury to Leno. They've gone 3-4-3. They've got Kolasinac, David Luiz, and Mustafi. So there's your answer, Martin. David Luiz is playing. And then wing backs / part of the midfield, you've got Tierney, and they've gone with Sergio Suarez to start with, interestingly. And then in the middle of the park, you've got Xhaka and Ceballos. And then the front three, Saka, Aubameyang, and Little Eddie and Nketiah. Don't know where Martin's gone. I'm sure he'll be back in a second. I'm sure his audio's still there. But Alex, what do you think of that Arsenal lineup?
Okay, well, so yeah, the big news is the omission, not the omission of Pepe, but as just mentioned there, he has attending the birth of his child, so he's not in the matchday squad. You could say no Ozil in the squad as well is a big news, but he hasn't played a minute at all since coming back from restart. And obviously Guendouzi is in the doghouse for what happened after the Brighton game, and is
does anyone care about the fact that
attitude issues? What's that?
Does anyone care that Ozil's missing?
No, well, there are a lot of fans who do.
God, Harry, too quick to happen.
I honestly thought that come July 2020 that this whole Ozil thing would have been done and moved on with. Like,
he's still the biggest issue with Arsenal. That is the single biggest issue with Arsenal, only because of the amount of wages that he was given, and he's clearly doesn't earn those wages, and the manager doesn't want him in the team anymore. It's clear that we want to get rid of him. He's not going to move on because he's getting paid so much. Why would he? So as soon as he's gone, then we've managed to do it with Mkhitaryan. The news came out during the week that his contract's been terminated, or his agent had agreed a termination fee with Arsenal, and he's now left the club. On that,
Alex, I want to sort of bring cotton into that. By the way, we've just kicked off now, and Adama Traore is right through the middle. And bloody hell, he almost scored. The scoreline, the time hasn't even come onto the screen yet. And the Adama Traore almost scored, but it was just clawed away there by Emi Martinez, and it's still 0-0 with 30 seconds into the game. But on the Mkhitaryan situation, Cotton, if people don't know, you can sort of see his Man United merch and memorabilia in the background, but he's got a lot of love for Roma. What are your thoughts on the fact that Roma have signed Mkhitaryan? And do you think, you've had a year of him already, do you think that he'll be able to enhance your side at the moment, or do you think they should be looking elsewhere?
He's not been terrible. I mean, we've got Pedro coming in as well, but I think it's a signing. It's a middle of the road signing for what Roma are out at the minute. They're middle of the road. They're not going to push. I don't even think they're going to push for Europe next season. I don't think they're going to challenge for a title. So it's a very safe, easy signing. Like, it's not going to pull up trees. It's not bad for him to go play in the Serie A. So I'm not expecting too much, to be honest.
That's fair enough. Arsenal having a little bit of early possession here, just knocking it around the back. They like looking around the back and then getting done by it.
It's going to be interesting. I think this game is going to be one in the centre midfield, because Wolves, we've got your three narrow central midfielders with your wing backs providing your width against what would seem to be two of in there for Arsenal. So I think it's going to have to count on either the wing backs for Arsenal tucking in a bit, or if Saka and Aubameyang sort of drop back into that to try and counteract that. I don't know. I think that's where it's going to be won or lost today.
Yeah, I see that. Arsenal are currently in 7th spot. Wolves are in 6th, but there's still 6 points between them. Martin, you've got Arsenal's conquerors in the Europa League in Olympiacos. Can you see yourselves winning the Europa League next season?
This season,
I should say.
Yeah, I can. I think there's no one to fear. We drew the first leg away in Greece. I guess it depends on whether they haven't decided yet, have they? Whether it's going to be a home leg for Wolves or whether it's going to be at a neutral venue. But the way we're playing, the way we keep it solid, I think if we get to that last 8, then
all the games are going to be over one leg, aren't they? So if you do get through,
it's Germany or Portugal? I can't remember.
I think it's Germany for the Europa League, Portugal for the
Champions League. That's right.
Hamburg. Why have I got Hamburg in the brain?
It's Cologne, isn't it? I thought.
Cologne.
Yeah.
Or Hamburg.
Well, it's a few.
They're playing in the Bundesliga playoffs.
No,
yes.
Hamburg missed out.
Yeah, they did again. Yeah.
So on the last game of the Bundesliga,
they bottled it massively.
It was Arminia Bielefeld versus Heidenheim. Bielefeld first, Heidenheim third, and Heidenheim just needed to just make sure that they got a better result than Hamburg to get through. Now Hamburg were like, well, we need to better the result at Heidenheim. That's fine. Bielefeld won 2-0. Heidenheim against Heidenheim. Hamburg were at home against Sandhausen, who were like 14th in the league.
And they got slapped, didn't they?
5-1 at home.
They
got the absolute drumming. So Hamburg ended up finishing 4th. Heidenheim came 3rd. Heidenheim played the first leg away against Werder Bremen on Thursday. It was the deadest game of football I've ever seen in my life. Finished 0-0, but Werder Bremen were down to 10 men as well. So the next leg, I want to say it's Sunday. Might be Monday.
Whilst there's not a lot going on at the moment, I think both teams are still kind of feeling each other out from a. I mean, there's only. We're coming up to the 5 minute. We're coming up to the 5 minute mark here. I just want to talk to Cotton just about. He must be feeling slightly hopeful about United's chances now moving forward. You seem to, with the signing of Bruno Fernandes and Pogba coming back, it seems to you've now got that midfield combination sort of locked up really now, I'd say.
Yeah, it's very promising going forward, but I still think there's still small issues. Like there's the stats at the minute would suggest we've got one of the tightest defences in the league. Now, if any of you watched that game today, I would not think that we had one of the tightest defences in the league.
That's a bit questionable.
Yeah, that's the thing. Of Lindelof, I like him in spurts, but he didn't look too great today. He kept getting sucked out of position, and then Boy came on and gave away his shoulder outside the box penalty. But yeah, like it looked good today with all 3 strikers scoring. I can't remember the last time that happened. That must have been Berbatov, Rooney, Tevez era sort of thing. The last time we had all 3 score, but it is looking really promising, and Fernandes is actually looking like the real deal at the minute.
I think that link up between Pogba and Fernandes is, I think, because what Pogba's, despite everybody's criticisms of him, he is one of the best passers in the world.
Paul Pogba is one of the best footballers, one of the most gifted footballers in world football.
I think what
proven when he was at Juve, and anytime he wears a blue shirt, he is the man. He is so sick.
I think
playing wrong, and now we're seeing the best.
I don't know whether they United were playing him wrong or the fact that because they didn't have a Bruno Fernandes beforehand. And he was obviously Pogba's ability was undoubted. That's why they were trying to force him into a role he wasn't. He didn't quite fit in, but now obviously with him playing slightly deeper with Fernandes there, you watch Pogba. The first time he gets a ball, he's always looking to see where he is.
Yeah, I think
trying to break the lines to get him.
The thing as well is Fernandes has come in and he's had such an impact that it's all the limelight is on him. So I feel like at the minute Pogba has got a bit of a time and space to relax and play his natural game.
Yeah.
Rather than worrying about Graham Souness on his back every 30 seconds.
Remember when we used to do Souness once?
Yeah. But I genuinely think that now that the attention isn't on him, he does have the ability to just get on with it. He really wanted to score at the end of today's game. You could tell he just wanted to take everything. He was on the end of everything. But yeah, the future's looking bright.
So, okay, I'll ask this question to you, Martin. So just pay attention. Where do you think the signings need to happen for you guys to sort of challenge Liverpool and Man City next year in the title race?
Oh, I don't think we can challenge those two yet.
Hang on. I'll slightly change it for you, Martin. I'm talking to Cotton here. In terms of Man United, where do you think you need to make the signings in order to challenge Liverpool and City?
Realistically, I know we've only just gone out and brought Maguire, but I think another centre back is probably a good shout at this point. I mean, it depends how Tuanzebe comes back because he's obviously been injured for a while. He's been out on loan for a while. Bailly, it just doesn't seem like it's worked out. He started off really good at United, but it just doesn't seem like it's worked out. Despite today's game with all three forward players playing really well, I still think we need a Sancho, someone, because you can't play Greenwood out on the wing 38 games a season in the Prem. We need a world-class wide man to complement everyone. So I think.
Whoa! So you're trying to say that Sancho, world-class wide man?
No, he is. That's what I'm saying. That's what we need.
No, he said he needs.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I completely misguided what you
I
said there.
I was saying. I was saying.
World-class wide man. You got to say, but I think it's offensive the 50 million offer. But it's not really an offer.
It's negotiation. It's negotiation.
Also,
it's obvious. It's negotiation.
Also, I know everyone's sick of talking about it, but post-COVID, what clubs have got X amount of money? You don't know how much it's impacted everyone's finance. Yeah, but 50 million.
Throwing out 54 million to go to buy Sane.
Okay, if we'd have brought Sane, how much? If Arsenal or United would have brought Sane, regardless of whether he was coming from
90, 100 million.
Well, there you go.
It's like a UK tax law, isn't it?
But yeah, I just think a wide player, and obviously Agallo will go back to China in August.
Do you think he'll stay?
What, on a permanent? No way. Not on the wages he's on. Like it's been a lovely story. To be fair, at first I didn't want him, but it's been a nice story. It would be silly to like when Ibra signed on for that one extra year at United, and it was one too many. Like you've had your great time. Back off you go and just get back on with it.
Dama Traore has just won the ball from the halfway line. He's ran all the way through the Arsenal midfield, if you want to call it that.
He just wild shot over the bar.
He's just literally hit him his left peg and he smashed it.
Martin, coming to you then. So, this has been a great season for Wolves. I think we can all sort of recognise that. Now, depending on where you guys finish, probably whether it's going to be in the top four, or if it's going to be in the Europa League spaces, where do you see Wolves needing to recruit, keep players to take you guys to the next level, to actually then become regular challengers for European football?
I think that's a tough one because we haven't played a lot of players this season. With all our games, we're still sticking with the same people. I mean, the amount of games Moutinho's played at his age is ridiculous. So I think we will need some more strength in depth. I think we are. It feels like we're looking at centre back for improvements from the team that have just had 7 clean sheets in 8 games. But we've got those 3 at the centre back, and if we get injuries, then we start to struggle. We got rid of Bennett to Leicester.
I like Bennett.
I like Bennett. He was just no nonsense. I think the key for us is to not lose too many players because there's so much press about how all the big teams are going to, they're after Traore, they're after Jimenez. you know, at the end of the season, as it stands, we've got 2 chances to get in the Champions League.
Yeah.
The project when Fosun and Nuno came in was to get promoted in 3 years.
Yeah,
in
the first season.
So the end of this season. So now is the end of the get promoted.
And then the other one as well, wasn't it? It's like you want to win the title within the next 10 years, and it's. I'm not trying to gas Wolves fans up in any way, shape, or form. I'm Gooner, for God's sake, but Wolves got more chance of winning the title sooner than the Arsenal have.
Yeah, I believe
you've got
that.
Financial clout, you've got a decent gaffer, you've got trust in the board, you've got stability, you've got consistency. It's all working in the shape of Wolves at the moment. You know,
honestly,
she doesn't support anyone.
I pinch myself so often. It's the club. I mean, the fans. Obviously, the fans love what's happening at the moment, but you know, even through what's happened, you know, the way that the club is treating the season ticket holders, and you know, giving them a phone call, and it's just we've always been, since Fosun came in, it's all been about you know, you fans, you're important, so they'll fill the stadium every week. We're going to build a bigger stadium soon.
So I don't want you to change your stadium. Look, Martin, we're
staying at Molineux
plenty times. I know you have. I've only ever been there once. It was early on this season, and to be fair, you actually got beat that day against Chelsea. However, even though you gave the away fans that whole lower tier on that bank, I was deafened by Wolves fans, and I think
it's so loud.
5-2. And
5-2 or 4-2.
5-2. 5-2. Scored a goal, I remember that. But even when you were losing, and it was even late on in the game, I couldn't hear myself talk. The Wolves fans were on it consistently, and it was sometimes you know, like, especially when you go abroad, when you go to games in Spain, go to games in Italy, go to games in Germany, they have the 12th man. Wolves have got that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've suffered for so many years, so you know, we've had to watch. You know, with the greatest respect to Doncaster, you know, I've found a Doncaster program earlier when I was clearing out my shed. And we beat Doncaster.
Back in the day where you had to compete with Donny to get a point.
You know, so you know, okay, so we lost at home to Chelsea. Yeah, we expect to win every week. Our fans are quite demanding.
At you, Martin, by the way. I'm just saying that's the only time I've ever been to Molineux, but it's actually more of a praise of how
absolutely.
Fans are.
But it's like, you know, everyone's buzzing. The atmosphere is amazing. Match day experience has stepped up completely with Fosun as well. You know, all the fireworks and everything. It's just, you know, people get to the ground early now to watch the fireworks and listen to all the music and everything, which is unheard of. I mean, you used to, in the North Bank, you used to like see people arriving at 3:15 because on a Saturday.
Try and get the early time out of the way. It's like, I don't want to see that. Okay, yeah. Just make sure you get your pint.
I don't see anything they're doing wrong. So
it's funny you talk about that defensive record, whilst because they've just put up a graphic on the screen about previous 8 games there, about only conceded 7 clean sheets. You've only conceded 21 shots on target in that 8-game period as well.
Yeah, 7 clean sheets in their last 8 games. Hey, Cotton, I want to bring you in on that actually, because I like to get a neutral. I like to sound a football neutral, but I'm sat here in my bruised banana, so I can't really talk too much. So when it comes to a neutral point of view, when you look at Wolves, their last 8 games, they've had 7 clean sheets. How do you see it as a neutral fan and as a football fan?
I just think Wolves have much more of a cohesive unit, and they're all on the same page. And without sounding disrespectful to Wolves, they might not be laden with superstars or household names, but they all play for each other. They all know each other inside out. Whereas the complete flip side of it, you look at the Arsenal back four, and you've got Mustafi, Socrates, Louise. But how often are they not on the same wavelength? How often are they both going for the same ball, or someone's waiting for someone to watch their man? Yeah. But obviously with Wolves, they all know where they're supposed to be. And I know Arteta hasn't been there long, but you have to look, is Nuno drilling the players well so they all know where they're supposed to be? Or are they just very good at knowing where they're supposed to be? Same with Arsenal. Is Arteta coaching them wrong, or is he doing it right, but the players just aren't applying it in a game?
I look at Sheffield United. I look at Wolves, and people are buzzing about how well Sheffield United have done this season. Sheffield United are a poor man's Wolves.
Yeah, they've suffered really badly since the restart as well.
Yeah, they have, and they got a great win against Tottenham. Yeah.
Very great win.
they did. Yeah, they did.
No, but on the level, I'm not taking the mick out of Spurs, because people know, I understand the Spurs message and what they do, and I quite enjoy the way Spurs play football. I just think that they think that they are way above their pay grade.
Yeah.
And they need to remember where they are and what they're doing. Oh, we finished fifth Arsenal for the last couple of seasons. Congratulations. Is that your trophy? Congratulations, you run with that. I look at Sheffield United and I think, I love how drilled you are. I put that down to Chrissy Wilder. I know Alex still. To be honest, I think we're all in agreement to that. But they have no one who you will look at and be like, right, you will be able to go sign for a top 6 club. Whereas Wolves have got the same mentality almost, and the same drilled squad, but with much better players. So I look at Jean Martino. Jean Martino, he's missed the boat as far as I'm concerned. He should have been in the Premier League 10 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
Neves, how boss was he in the Championship?
I don't know how you guys managed to get him without a bigger club at the time getting ahead of you.
George Mendes.
Yeah. George Mendes.
George Mendes.
But I mean, great signing.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been brilliant. He's
keeping an eye on the screen. We're coming. By the way, boys and girls, whoever's watching, we're coming up to like 20 minutes. Nothing's really happened in this game so far.
No, both sides are kind of just feeling each other out, aren't they?
Yeah, they were feeling each other out in the first 5 minutes, and since then it's been pretty drab. So we're just going to chat shit about football for a bit. So yeah, back to Martin and Wolves. The fact that you're, that sounds really bad. You're a better version of Sheffield United, but at the same time, you're not far off a European spot again, and maybe even Champions League.
Well, we're pretty much confirmed in a European spot already, probably.
I think so, yeah. And I think the reason why that separates you from, say, Sheffield United is that you've got a couple of difference makers in your Ruben Neves, Raul Jimenez, Traore when he comes on, Jota. I've said it many times, but I'm a big fan of Diogo Jota. I really think that boy's going places.
Honestly,
on his days, he's amazing.
I mean, he's still young. He's what, 20, 21?
21, yeah. 22, yeah.
I didn't realise he was as young as that.
Yeah, he's still really young.
I thought he was like 24, 25. I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah,
no, he's
good, but he's still young.
Same with Neves. They're both. We've what we
Neves
try and do.
Neves is 22, isn't he? I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what Wolves have done straight away is, so we talk about they've got a system. They use that. They've got variations on it. So today we've got Dendoncker in, and sometimes we have 3 up front. But we play our system. They know it. We don't really care who we play. We don't worry about the opposition. We worry about how we play. But what we've also done behind the scenes is every level of football at Wolves is also playing that system. So the academy is playing that system. The reserves, the under 23 are playing that system. Everyone is.
It's fed through the whole system.
Yeah. So it's throughout the whole club. So. And we've bought some amazing youngsters as well. We've bought youngsters from Bayern Munich and I mean, Neto. Remember,
Mate,
I think he might have just turned 20, but he's ridiculously young, and he's already a Premier League.
I
can't hear you, Gav.
I think I would.
I'm presenter and production and director at the same time, so I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm just throwing it out.
So I just want to just kind of piggyback off the back of you saying about, you mentioned obviously young players there, and we talked about how young obviously players like Neves, Jota, Neto are. I want to just go to Cotton here and talk about United's young player. Young players and still in Rashford. He's still young. Mason.
Really good.
I was going to say Mason Greenwood.
Jesse Lingard.
Let's not go down that route. Let's not go down that one. The guy who's still young and got bags of potential at 28 or 27 or however old he is.
Jesse Lingard is older than Nathan Redmond.
Oof.
But,
big oof.
Yeah. So what I was leading into is that Mason Greenwood. Now I want to go on record in saying here, right? There is a lot of chat that I see on my Twitter timeline between Arsenal and United fans arguing who's better, Martinelli or Greenwood. I'm going to say this now: Mason Greenwood is better than Martinelli, and that's not to say that Martinelli's not good, but I just think that Mason Greenwood has potential to be top 10, top 5 player in the world when he fully realises it. He has that kind of ability for me, because what foot is he? He scored both with both feet today. Equally adept with both good.
But he has got a strong right hand.
And here's the other thing as well. He's got that ability of, you give him half a yard within sight of goal, and he's hitting the target 9 times out of 10. He's on the plane to the Euros next year for me.
Mate, honestly, Kylian Mbappe has Mason Greenwood posters on his wall. I'm telling you. Like, I know. Like all of our clubs get really, really bad about hyping up youngsters, especially if they're like English youngsters.
Yeah.
But the kid's unreal, man. His movement, his finishing today. I think he had two clear chances, and they're both absolutely. I mean, the first one, goalkeeper's a little bit Chris Packett wrist, but Greenwood's hit it so hard. It doesn't even matter if you get a touch to it. It's gone top corner.
It's a great finish, and I think it's now that we've seen the the investment at what seems to be at grassroots level by the clubs and the FA. We're starting to see some really, really talented English players come through, aren't we? So as I say, you've got Greenwood, the one on Thursday, which I still can't get over how good he looks, is Phil Foden. I know none of us are Man City fans here, but oh my God, he looks like he could be a mainstay in that team for the next 10, 15 years, you know?
Yeah, well, I think the thing was as well, we were the Foden thing, you could clearly see that he had quality, but Pep was only throwing him on with 10 minutes left in an 8-0 game. The only question we all had wasn't, is Foden going to be any good? It's, will he ever break into that? Will he break into that City team? And I still think, I'm not going to lie, next season out on loan to a mid-table club or a team pushing for Europe wouldn't be the worst thing for him. I don't think it'd be the worst thing for him.
I think he's going to play. I think he's going to be in their starting lineup next year, because David Silva's going.
He's on his way.
Yeah, he's out on his way, and I'm pretty certain Pep said in interviews saying that he's told the board they don't need to invest because they've got Foden. So it'll be interesting. I did see. I know a lot of those appearances that I'm about to say. Apparently, he's made 30 appearances for City so far this season, but quite a few of them would be what Stephen's just said. They'll come in like the last 10 minutes here.
Yeah, but the thing is with Foden is like, we just saw him a couple of weeks ago against Burnley, and he had a 10 out of 10 game. And I went on social media and I told everyone, I was like, Phil Foden isn't the future, he is the now. And people will come back to me going, oh, it's Burnley. When did he just turn on against Liverpool? We just saw him against the Premier League champions. Yes, you could say that, but they don't really care anymore because they're Premier League champions. Is there any way that Liverpool could have strengthened their side on Thursday night? There's no way they could have strengthened that side. They had every man, the best player in every position, 4-3-3, the way they've done it all damn season. And Phil Foden looked world class against them. So
do you know what I think? Do you know what I think will be make or break for Foden? City having no Europe, because it means he probably, obviously they won't need to invest in the squad because they won't be playing 60 games a season.
Yeah.
Plus that means he might get his chance. And you don't know. People might want to leave City because of no Europe. Does De Bruyne want to stay 2 more years without Champions League football? I'm not saying he jumped straight away.
32.
So if they don't get Europe, I think they probably won't invest, and I think that would be the best scenario for Foden. And
they find out in 10 days' time, I think, don't they?
Yeah, it's this month. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, look, I've had a post showing on our page for quite some time. It's from Adam Deering, good pal of mine. Thanks to see you watching. It's nice. We were talking about Man United before, and before we carry on, we're not talking much about the Wolves Arsenal game that we're watching at the moment
because there's nothing much going on.
And there was nothing happening. So we're just talking about the rest of what's going on in the Premier League. And Manchester United's front 3 in all competitions this season. Rashford, 20 goals, 8 assists. Greenwood, 16 goals, 5 assists. And then Martial, 20 goals, 6 assists. I want to double check. I do need a fact check on that Greenwood one. Is Greenwood genuinely scored 16 goals this season?
Yeah, he's got quite a few from the Europa League, hasn't he? But he's still scored.
He's also played. Greenwood has played 41 games this season.
Wow.
7 starts in the Prem, but he's played 41 games. So he's come off the bench and he pretty much starts all the cup games, Europa League games. But that's 16 goals for Greenwood. I don't know if that was before today's game or after, because I think
it's after today's game. I think it's after today's game. Yeah.
But for what it's worth, and obviously it's not worth much because they ran away with the league. But that front 3 have scored more goals in all competitions than
Liverpool.
Firmino, Mane, and Salah. And in the Premier League, the United front 3 have only scored 2 less than that Liverpool front 3.
Wow.
The difference is Liverpool have got a stronger defence and goalkeeper.
And they've had their players chipping in with goals from all over the pitch all season. Whereas we've only just had Bruno start popping up with a few now and stuff.
Well, it's because you only signed mid-season.
Had Bruno,
exactly.
January.
Well, yeah,
against Wolves. In fact, talking about that, when you Martin, when you first saw it was a 0-0 draw. I was over in California at the time. I was watching that early doors and in 25 degrees of heat in January, which I really enjoyed. But Martin. Throw it out there, dropping lights. When that was Bruno Fernandes' first game in the Premier League. What were your thoughts on him, and did that make you think, bloody hell, this guy's Portuguese, we could have had him?
Well, we were linked, obviously.
With every Portuguese player.
We're linked with every, exactly. No, he looked quality. I think we did a good job on him first game, to be honest. He didn't have a lot of the ball, but I guess having so many Portuguese players, we know him well, so
yeah.
So we did a job on him. But yeah, he's clearly quality, and I think without signing him, I honestly think that United would have limped to the end of the season and 8th, 7th or 8th.
I think so. Look, your man's only been since January. He's already part of the team of the year here, there, and everywhere. It's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, but I'd
say he's probably going to get in there now. He'd probably get in there now.
He's already been in some. I've seen some published.
Second month on a bounce.
Here we go.
David Luiz. There you go. There's you go. 31 minutes. David Luiz is one-on-one with
just
running down the left.
That's the areas that David Luiz just doesn't want to be in. He every time he gets dragged out wide, he just looks like a fish out of water. If he stays in the centre of centre of the park, he's okay because he can use the other centre half to do that dirty work. But when they get in a position to isolate him one-on-one like that, he's just going to get.
Right, I think.
Put your money on David Luiz getting sent off, right?
Gamble responsibly, boys and girls. But I just need to say from now, put your money on David Luiz getting sent off. He's on a yellow card. He's still got an hour to play. Jean-Moutin is about to take his free kick. He's getting whipped in, and it is headed away by
hold on,
found by Tierney. He's got a throw in on the right-hand side.
I don't know if this will show up, but my mate has literally texted me about 3 minutes ago saying no, it was about 20 minutes ago. Fancy a red card in this game for some reason, and my reply was, "Is Luiz playing?" And obviously, there he is.
Johnny's just had a shot, just gone wide there.
The only more guaranteed card in the Premier League than David Luiz. Jefferson Lerma's games to card ratio.
Jefferson let me down for a couple of quid. He did.
His card to game ratio looks like a world class striker.
Yeah, it's stupid.
52 Premier League games played or something, 26 cards or something. It's stupid.
There's no in the Bundesliga called Rashika. He plays for Schalke, and
the winger.
He has had 17 yellow cards this season, and he's had 3 bans this season because of accumulating too many yellow cards. And if people don't know, the Bundesliga season only runs for 34 games. So he received yellow cards in 50% of those games played, but he didn't even play in all of those because of suspensions. That guy. And when people talk about Lee Catamol, how many yellow cards he got, bloody hell.
Yes, still not Sergio Ramos levels, but
no.
I love Sergio Ramos.
Well, we love Sergio. He's a warrior, Sergio Ramos.
Do you not remember, Gav? Do you not remember Pepe's last season for Real Madrid? I'm certain he didn't get booked in his last season, and we couldn't
because we kept on putting it on.
Yeah,
we were like, Pepe's get booked in this game. Get booked in this game. Lose out.
Eddie.
Eddie.
Oh, it's at the post. Eddie.
Eddie Nketiah, 34 minutes on the clock, and Eddie Nketiah just had a shot from the edge of the box. And Patricio was scrambling a little bit there, and it's hit the post.
The ball kind of got. The ball wasn't intended for him originally, and it was a good first-time shot there.
Yeah, it was
good save actually. Yeah,
it's
a good save.
It's actually just affected off Jean-Moutinho. And it was saved by Patricio, who's just not out of play, and it's Arsenal corner. 11 minutes to go until half time. Saka's about to take this corner.
So, talking about youngsters, I mean, Arsenal have a few promising youngsters themselves. I know a couple are playing today in Bukayo Saka.
Bukayo Saka's corner is literally just landing in the arms of Rui Patricio, and it's gone to nothing.
So, Bukayo Saka, Joe Willock, Eddie Nketiah, all of these players are certainly promising. Coming through the Hale End Academy. No, probably not quite on the same level as the ones that we've mentioned previously. However, they certainly do have a potential to be good Premier League players, whether they be for Arsenal or the teams. Maybe Saka's probably the best one. Saka's definitely the best one out of the lot. But I certainly think there's a lot of promise to them. And one player that I really do like the signing of, and I've said this to Gav a couple of times, is I really like Kieran Tierney. I really like him. I think he's a solid left back, wing back. You know, his delivery's good. He's got pretty good pace. He's got a lot of passion. If anything, I think he could be future captain material. To be fair.
Who? Saka?
No, Tierney.
Tierney.
I'm talking about Kieran Tierney.
Sorry, I was thinking about Tierney. Saka.
You got that fire-ish Scottish running through.
I understand where you're
exactly. Yeah.
I don't like the idea. For me, I'm so traditional with my mindset sometimes when it comes to football. I want to see a captain's armband behind the centre half or the centre midfielder. I don't want to see it on anyone else. I don't think anyone else really can see the whole game panning out and have impact in it. I understand goalkeeper when they can see the whole game, but can they come out and have impact on the game? No, I don't think they can. Someone in the middle of the park, or someone I've got hiccups. Someone in the middle of the park, or someone at centre half. Yes, they can see it, but.
I'm not a fan of goalkeepers having it either. Like you said, they can see the game and read the game, but when there's a midfield battle going on all game, and you need someone to be in there roughing people up or dragging
You need
people
your
away.
skipper to be doing that.
Yeah,
So a left
dragging
back
people
can't
away.
do that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't
Fucking
think
can't do
I
that.
can see what you mean. I mean, there is no coincidence that Arsenal's best two captains on modern times have been a centre half and a centre midfielder. I get that, and you're thinking in history as well. You're thinking Brian Robson from Man United, Roy Keane, Steven Gerrard, John Terry. All of these, yeah, definitely spine players. But I will say that it doesn't necessarily mean what Paolo Maldini. He was Milan's captain. He played. I mean, he could play both. But I think did he play more games at left back than he did at centre half?
Anomaly.
Stuart Pearce is one. Is certainly springs to mind for Forest.
No, he's a shouter. I don't want to necessarily say he's a leader.
But leaders come in different shapes and sizes, and I just think Kieran Tierney would be one of those. He'd be more of your passionate, as in I'm giving everything for the cause, boys. Lead by example, lead by example kind of players. And I think that's kind of something sorely missed at Arsenal right now.
Of all of those Premier League midfielders you named that were captains for certain clubs, one of them was an odd one out. One of them hasn't won the Premier League title.
Yeah. Steven Gerrard. Yeah, we're aware of that. You know, like.
I'm sorry, they're having their moment this week.
Frank Lampard is better than Steven Gerrard for that reason alone. How many people can we trigger off that? Let's see what happens.
Well, I personally think Frank Lampard is a better midfield player than Steven Gerrard.
Personally, I always go Lampard, Gerrard, Scholes in that order.
What? Hold on. What? Is Scholes number one? Are you saying Gerrard? Are you saying Lampard's number one?
Lampard number one.
Yeah, Lampard for me is number one.
Everyone goes on about Lampard, Gerrard, Scholes. Lampard, Gerrard.
I'll tell you what is nuts. They brought it up. We were so spoiled and we didn't even think about it at the time. They were talking about Lampard during the West Ham game. The amount, what is he? Is he third all-time top goal scorer in the Prem? Fourth?
Something like that. He's Chelsea's top goal scorer.
He's a centre mid.
Yeah.
He
didn't even play behind the striker. He was just centre mid.
That's the thing. And that angers me because people go, "Oh yeah, but he always played just off the striker."
He didn't.
Did he? Hell. He's a centre midfielder with an attacking
and not just that, he was a centre midfielder in that era of the Premier League, right? When it was at its most physicality, and he played game after game after game after game. He never missed a game through injury. Didn't he have his record was something like he played 180 consecutive games for Chelsea without missing.
That was an absolute animal. Mike, where would you rank it in those three? Gerrard, Lampard, Scholes.
Ooh, see, I've got a soft spot for Scholes. I thought he was amazing, and I think my dad was a United fan, and I think for what he did, I think Lampard number one, but I would go Scholes 2, Gerrard 3.
You go that way. See, the thing is, like, when I do this order, I think people think that I'm hating on Scholes. I'm not. It's a little bit like what Alex was saying earlier on. He's going Greenwood over Martinelli. It doesn't mean that Martinelli isn't good. What I'm saying is that we prefer one other than the other. There's no harm in that.
Honestly, I know you won't be able to break down every game over both their careers forever. I just think Lampard or Gerrard is vastly dependent on what your team needs. Lampard was Mr. Consistent, right? Don't get me wrong. And he scored X amount of goals from central midfield. But how many times in finals, were Liverpool lacking something? And Steven Gerrard...
There's a training ground move for a free kick there. And it deflected, and we didn't know where it was going. It just landed.
And Martinez has put Wolves in.
But Wolves are still on their front foot, and there was a shot from 20, 23, 24 yards there by Jimenez. It's been cleared away, and it's now back with Patricio. Nothing's really happened there. It's like a really slow version of a Champy 2 game where the ticker tape is going on the bottom. Nothing's really happening.
Yeah, but going back to the Gerrard game, how many times did Gerrard take a game, a cup final, a semi-final, literally drag it by the scruff of the neck, score an impossible 40-yard goal, get the players rallied up around him? Did Lampard do that as much? I don't think he did. So
Didn't need to.
No,
The thing is,
that's what I mean. It's different players for different squads, and it depends what you need more than.
I feel that if Gerrard was playing now, he would get into the starting lineup, we know that. But I don't think he'd be the first name on the team sheet. Whereas when he was around, he was the first name on the team sheet because there wasn't a lot of top-end talent going on at Liverpool. And Arsenal
scored!
Saka! Saka!
Cash out!
2 minutes in!
Cash
It's
out!
1-0 to Arsenal!
That's come out of the blue. That's come out
I
of the
was
blue.
not expecting
Alex,
at all.
Alex, if it's come out the blue for you, give it another 45 seconds before it comes out of the blue for me.
Yeah, I'm me.
Oh dear. Sorry, guys. So basically,
it's flicked on by Aubameyang, who's looking for a handball to Kieran Tierney with the cross there. It looks like he was crossing, come up the arm there, but it bounced in the path.
It's a lovely finish.
Saka.
That is a lovely finish. That is a really good finish.
You've
Still
still got the ball on the edge of your box.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to have to sync up at half time with these boys here.
Oh, I've just hit a goal.
You've just seen it. You'll get it in a minute. You'll get it in a minute there, Stephen. But that was. I will. Can I? That's the first Premier League.
That's a real good volley. That is.
It is, isn't it? That's difficult technique. That is.
He's behind him. He's swerved. He's swung his whole body around. That's nice.
As you guys are behind, what you can do the analysis of it. We can tell you.
I think
the goal.
I think Martin just say. I think Wilfred Bowley doesn't really cover himself in a lot of glory there. He kind of waves a foot at it and just doesn't really react too well to the danger there as the ball came across.
Lovely finish there.
Oh, he's nowhere near it. Sice is closest, and they're not close to it, and
it's such a strange goal to concede when you're just so tight at the back. Usually,
it is. It's almost as if it's almost because it's been so slow.
Yeah,
I don't know. That looked quite incisive by Arsenal, and but what I would say is. If there was a league table based on first half performance, we're near the bottom.
However, the second half,
absolutely
since
shocking.
Come back off lockdown, the Wolves situation is
keep it
60
tight.
minutes in, we'll bring Traore on.
That's it. Yeah, it feels like you had a specific game plan of we'll keep it tight for the first half, first 50 minutes or so, and then as soon as the opposition had got tired, we'll bring on Traore and he'll just run ragged of a tired defence, and it's worked perfectly. But which is why I was potentially a little bit shocked he started today.
Yeah, I'm not expecting to start today.
But we'll bring on Jota though, who
that's it.
Also, it's hard to get the ball off Jota. He's not as fast. He's not as strong, but he keeps the ball well, and
he does. He's very skillful. I did say this to you on
Alex,
Friday.
Absolutely gutted of Jota. I'm a big fan of Jota, big fan, but I don't guss off him like Alex does.
Well, I just every time I see him, he's finishing. He's got great finishing ability for a winger. I think he's got very, very good finishing skills.
I don't think he's a winger.
Yeah,
do you think he's more? What would you say? Okay, if we're going on football manager, terms, is he more of an inside forward?
Inside forward.
Yeah, he's he plays. If there's two up front, he plays off Jimenez, and that's perfect.
Top.
Okay.
There we go.
If we play two up front.
We're talking a foreign language there, Martin.
I know, it's all right, I get it.
But it was recovered. So good translation there, Colin. Thank you very much for coming.
You're welcome.
It looks like it's gonna end 1 each at half time, unless something 1-0 at half time.
I did say this at the yesterday in our show that it would be interesting to see how Wolves react to going behind, because, as you say, this is the first time they've gone behind for quite a number of games now. So it'll be interesting to see how Wolves can come back into this game in the second half, as Martin's alluded to. And they put a graphic up on the screen earlier about the difference of the amount of goals you guys have scored in the second half compared to the first half. I think you've only scored something like 10 goals or 11 goals in the Premier League so far this season in the first half. But when it comes to the second half, it's something like 35, 36 goals you've scored. So Wolves clearly are a second half team. Now, it'll be interesting to see how you respond to this going 1-0 down.
Well, what I would say is, so we've talked about the one game out of 8 where there wasn't a clean sheet. That was away at Tottenham, and we went behind and came back to win 3-2. So
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
And you were 2-0 down against City, weren't you?
Oh yeah, I was there, and I put a bet on. I was a bit drunk, and I put a bet on to win 4-2. I should have just put a bet on the win, really. But...
to win from behind. I just want to bring up Adam Deering. Adam is man on the show today. Loving that. Loving a little watch along, and it's making dreams work. So it tells me that we're going to do this again for the next big game over the week. Adam's put on the screen. United's front 3 in all competitions. We've already seen that one. We're going back to this one instead. His opinion.
Back in a second.
Scholes first, Lampard second, Gerrard third. It might be a little bit of bias. Now, look, I look at certain United players over time, and I think I don't like you because you play for United. And I look back at their career, and I think, yeah, you've actually done all right, and I now appreciate your impact. Because there's one player who I did not understand the hype. I didn't rate it. Was Neville. I didn't understand what Gary Neville did throughout his whole career at Man United. But then I realised what it was. He turned up, was consistent, went home. I think he must have had, you probably count, maybe 10 in his whole career where he averaged less than 7.
But Gav, also the opposite side for a bit, because he then went to Wolves. Dennis Irwin. Dennis Irwin was probably even more consistent than Gary Neville.
Yeah, he was. And if people are watching along, obviously a few people are logged into us, which is great. And thank you so much for watching. And before I continue on my next point, underneath you guys see all our social media links. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. It's all at 2UpTopFootball. You better find us on everything. And the hashtag is TUTF. Dennis Irwin, as you were saying there, Martin, he came up on our list in the top 5 fullbacks of all time. We've said, the top 5 fullbacks in the Premier League. And he was in a lot of people's lists, and I omitted him from my list. And it's not because I don't think he's a top 5 player. I can just think of 5 players, in my opinion, that I enjoyed watching and being involved in more so than him. So, like, I'm not.
He was never an exciting player.
I'm just going to say, make sure you watch all our stuff on YouTube. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. We've got many different playlists as well, so make sure you watch some of them, agree or disagree with our top 5, so let us know. But yeah, Dennis Irwin was in a couple of ours, and yeah, you had the end of him, but he was still a player that
he was still 7 out of 10 every week.
Indeed he do. So half time it is Wolves 0, Arsenal 1. I am not expecting this. My prediction is out the window now.
Yeah, you said you went 2-0, didn't you?
I went 2-0.
Mine's still on. I still think it's going to finish 1-1. I still think it'll finish 1-1.
Everyone's is still on, apart from mine.
I still think it'll finish 1-1. Mainly because I don't have confidence in us to keep a lead. And Wolves have, as we said, alluded to, they they've shown the ability to come back and against better teams. I know the one against City were down to 10 men, but you still had to come back against them. I'd still take City 10 men against Arsenal 11 men. But you did it against Spurs. In this run of clean sheets you had before today's game. It's
we've done it a few times.
We've done it a few times. Yeah, you've done it a few times. But what I will say is, I think it's very moving forward outside of this game. Certainly, there's lots of good reasons for Wolves fans to look forward to. I still think there's a lot of good things for Arsenal fans to look forward to, especially under Arteta. I think that we're a much better drilled side now. I think we look a little bit harder to break down, and with some key additions, I think that we can certainly make an improvement going forward. I do like the way that we look, especially as we're set up like this. We've kind of almost copied Wolves' formation, Wolves and Sheffield United's formation with 3 at the back. But I think it suits us. The way our players we have at the moment, I think it suits us.
3 at the back is actually it is working for Arsenal, and it's not something that I'm a big fan of. I am very old school. I want 2 backs of 4, 2 up top. But when Arsenal were most successful, they were a 4-4-1-1 side, and that 4-4-1-1 is now evolved into nowadays football into a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-5-1 or a 4-3-2-1. You wide men coming in, or there's variety to it. I just think that 3 at the back doesn't allow enough graft in the middle of the park. It snuffs out the opposition, which is what you want. You don't want the opposition to score. But in the middle of the park, you are not being able to get a foothold of a game. And that's what I like about Wolves, is that even though they do play 3 at the back, they will go with 5 across the midfield. So they've got 3 that are able to control the middle of the park, rather than most sides that will have 2 in that position.
Well, a lot of the time we go with 4, though. I mean, yeah. I think the key point you're making is Johnny and Doherty. Are just they've been amazing. I mean Doherty for the amount of goals he scores, the amount of assists he gets, for the price we got him from Bohemians, I think, in Ireland. We played them in a pre-season. We played them in a pre-season friendly. Mick McCarthy thought, he looks good, and we signed him a few weeks later. And he's a dream player, isn't he? He's the one you get cheap. He plays in when we got relegated to League One. He was there.
Oh, has he been there? Has he been there that whole time?
He's just come for 10 years.
Wow! Here we go with the testimonial.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's still and now he's doing it in the Premier League, and but he can't get in the Ireland. He can't get in the Ireland team though.
Mate, I do not know. Right, because I love Seamus Coleman, and we always bang on about Seamus Coleman bargain bucket 60k. 45 grand. I didn't realise 45 grand you signed Matt Doherty for.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And
who did you sign him from? Who did you sign him from?
Bohemians in Ireland.
Bohemians.
Yeah, we played them in a pre-season.
No, sorry, 81,000.
Yeah.
The market value too expensive.
If you buy it in private, it's either Sligo or it's Bohemians.
Yeah. But Mick McCarthy has said, unfortunately, in his position, he's got Seamus Coleman against him, so he doesn't play much for Ireland.
Tough one. Who do you play ahead of that? Hey, look.
And so he's played him in midfield a few times, and it doesn't quite work.
It doesn't work. So it's half time out of the game at the moment.
I just want to throw a stat out here that I've seen. Apparently,
it's half time at the moment. Just so anyone who's just come into the live stream, it's Wolves 0, Arsenal 1 at half time. The goal came from Bukayo Saka,
which, by the way, apparently he's the youngest English player to score for Arsenal in the league since Stuart Robson since 1983. Bukayo Saka.
Wow.
Bukayo Saka.
There you go.
Signed a new contract earlier this week, and he's celebrating it in
Stuart Robson.
Yeah, Stuart Robson. Yeah, Stuart Robson signed a new 4-year contract for Arsenal earlier this week, and celebrating in style. But going back to Wolves, Matt Doherty's a great servant of the club, obviously, and perfect. Well, can you name better ways to spend 81 grand than signing him?
Strippers.
Oh God, yeah. Sorry, you've made me cough now.
Wolves fans will tell you that we bought Steve Ball for 60 grand many years ago from West Brom. So,
oh well, there you go. There's another bargain that you picked up there.
Yeah,
those 60 grand. But I mean, I wonder what that 60 grand would equate to nowadays. But well, that was back in the 80s. You signed him, wasn't it?
Yeah, mid 80s. Yeah.
But okay, so I know it wasn't much to talk about that first half, but sort of, I'd like to get your thoughts on the game, guys. What you're saying? What you think is going to happen in the second half?
I wasn't really. You could tell they're both similarly placed on the table. Neither team looked a lot better than the other. The first half performance is very indicative of the game as a whole since the restart. No one really wants to go for it too much because second half everyone's going to have a second wind and everyone's going to be more up to speed. So second half, I think anything can happen. I wouldn't be surprised to see if Wolves really, really press Arsenal and really get onto them in search of equaliser. And with Arsenal's defensive frailties at the minute, you wouldn't put it past them to score.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree with that. I looking at it from an Arsenal point of view, having my Arsenal head on, I would be, if Wolves really do come out strong in the second half, I would be tempted to bring off David Luiz because it's imperative that we got to keep 11 men on the field. Absolutely imperative.
Yeah,
and we've seen that already since restart that he is likely to cause a bit of mayhem. But not in a good way. So, from an Arsenal point of view, I would look to see how Wolves react coming out in the second half, and then obviously go from there.
So, I expect that maybe not at half time, but certainly by 60 minutes, we'll probably take Dendoncker off, or we may rest one of the other two, and we'll bring. I think we'll bring Jota on, but maybe we'll bring Neto on. But I think we'll go through it up front pretty soon, and as we do most second halves, we'll raise the tempo a bit, and we'll see what happens. And I hope that Luis stays on.
Oh God, we're. Do you know what? We're so. It's such a. I almost feel like every time you guys attack or any team attack us, I'm kind of like got my hands moving further and further closer to my eyes because. Not only David Luiz can be a liability, I really don't rate Kolasinac. I just don't think there's anything there to work with. And especially as his left centre half, he's being played out of position. I just hope to God that we can hang on, but I just can't see it, to be honest with you. I think that's where you guys need to really focus on. If you were to make a change, I agree. You probably bring off Dendoncker, get another man up top, i.e. Jota, and then you just try and attack us through Traore and Jota in the wings, in those spaces behind our fullbacks, wing backs, whatever you want to call them. Drag your centre halves out wide, and then you leave one-on-one Jimenez with David Luiz. And I think there's only really going to be one winner out at that battle.
Can I just really quickly, I know it's not really related to today's game.
Go on.
I think one of the players that doesn't get the most praise for Wolves, how good is Dendoncker? I was absolutely gutted when he went to Wolves, because when he was young, and was it Anderlecht, wasn't he? I was hoping that, because he was playing centre-back, he was playing centre-mid, and he was just running that team at like 17, 18. And I wanted us to have a look at him. And then nothing really happened for a while. And then when Wolves went in for him, I thought, right, he'll be decent. And he is. He's one of those players. I mean, last week he was man of the match and he scored the winner.
but generally he's no fuss. He's he's a proper team player. He gets stuck in. He covers the yards. He's just. And it was good last week. They finally got a bit of glory and a bit of
love, yeah.
Bit of love, yeah. Because I
how old is he? How old is he? Is he early 20s? Is he?
Mid-20s.
25.
Oh, he's 25. Okay, all right. So he's a little bit older than I thought. But
just turned 25 in April.
But I read
the traditional peak. He's coming into his traditional football. He should be coming into his peak now. 25 onwards, isn't it? 25 to 29, 30. So he should be starting to hit his stride now. Really, as a football player.
But what we specialise in, sort of with Jimenez. So the reason Jimenez has done so well, he's been on the bench everywhere. He's been, he's done all right, and he's been on the bench. And then we've invested in these players. Him, Dendoncker. I mean, even Neves. I know he was a Champions League captain really early, but he spent a lot of time on the bench. And we've invested in these players and got them, and give them the love, and they're thriving. And
yeah, definitely. You've managed to get a perfect storm. So you've got the coaching who is willing to work with what you've got in terms of like your what's the chap's name? Is it Fosun? And then obviously he's in close ties with George Mendes, the agent, and then as you say, you're giving players who potentially have been bench players elsewhere. You've picked up a couple of really good youngsters, and then you've obviously blended that with what you had at the club already, and it's obviously just shown that you guys you've had a plan and you're well ahead of schedule. So even if you guys do lose today, that shouldn't really take away from the season that you guys have had. And it's very much a case of Wolves have got a very bright future. Now, just for those who are watching along with us, we have just kicked off in the second half. We're about a minute in. So at the moment, there's a Wolves player down, I think, receiving treatment. I didn't quite catch who it was. But yeah, you're here watching two up top.
Nice.
And we've got, obviously, we've got Gav Mack, our lead presenter, myself, Alex Osborne. And then we've got Stephen Cotton, who is co-creator, should we say, of the two up top brand page, football show, whatever you want to call it. And then our good friend of the show, Martin, who's our special guest Wolves fan, giving us a perspective from a Wolves point of view. And yeah,
can I just add a stat I've just seen?
Yeah, please do.
So most Premier League points won from a losing position. I couldn't see the number two.
That, aren't they?
Wolves 21 points from a losing position. 21 points. Ridiculous.
There you go. So Wolves are certainly not fazed by going behind. Let's put it that way.
No.
Gav, I've got a stat for you.
Go on in.
Not so much a stat, but what is the problem with both goalkeepers in this game today?
Are you talking about the numbers they're wearing?
Not the numbers. It's something related to the numbers, though.
Oh, they're both wearing short sleeve.
They're both wearing short sleeve shirts. Don't trust it.
Not a fan.
So I just want to actually touch on that. Not the short sleeves, but the numbers. So, Martin, I hope you're as annoyed by it as Gav is, and I am. And probably a lot of people. But
I'm not annoyed by it. I'm not annoyed.
A goalkeeper wearing number 11. I'm not sure if it sits well with me.
Well, but yeah. So the reason why is our previous number one, Carl Hakimi, got leukemia and had to retire. So we allegedly, well, I don't know how long for, but we retired the number one shirt for that reason.
And so every goalkeeper wears one in their number. So you're John Ruddy, who's 21, and then you've got a goalkeeper wearing 31. And Ruben Patricio wants to be number one. So therefore, with it not being available, we went for the lowest number available with a 1 at the end, and 11.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's the reason why.
So I did not know that. I did not know that.
No,
I did not know that.
I thought you did.
No,
I understand the reason fully why he wears number 11. However, I'm not a fan.
He's the number one of the club.
Do you know? It reminds me of that time.
Obviously, Akimi doesn't play anymore because he had to retire. So,
yeah.
But I'm pleased to. I mean, the important thing here, I think, is to say that Akimi fully recovered, and
that's good. That's good. That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
He's doing well. Missing football, but yeah,
he's got his life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Much more important than a game of football.
Yeah, and on that point, I think Wolves have had some bad luck with some goalkeepers. I mean, I think everyone knows Matt Murray from Soccer Saturday.
He's on Sky Sports a lot.
Now, I genuinely believe he would have been England number one. He was awesome. But he had so many injuries, and he was so unlucky. But he was just brilliant, and
he's quite physically imposing for a goalkeeper as well.
Yeah,
actually.
he is. Yeah, and I genuinely think if he didn't have all the injuries, he'd have certainly played for England. Yeah,
it would have been nice. I think he's brilliant on punditry. To be fair, he's got real good media presence to him.
So
he's a proper nice guy.
Have you met him then before?
Yeah.
I've not had a chance to meet him, but yeah, Martin's met him.
Yeah, I've met him. He's a good guy.
Does he want to come on the show?
You might.
In other football news today, we've also got the Pokal final, the German Pokal final, which is the equivalent of the FA Cup. It's Bayer Leverkusen versus Bayern Munich. That's kicking off in about 20 minutes' time.
I thought it was 6:30.
I thought it was 6:30 as well. I just went to go and tell it.
It's 7, yeah.
It's the coverage.
Maybe.
It's not started yet. And co-presenter for the Bundesliga show, Flo Wolfram, has a lot of interest in that, bearing in mind that he works for and is a massive fan of Bayer Leverkusen. There was just an opportunity a moment there for Wolves. It just went wide ahead of there. It still remains 1-0 to Arsenal at the moment. We are just coming up to the 52-minute mark in the second half.
Talking, yeah, Cotton's still in the first half at the moment.
Is it kicked off yet? Between Wolves and Arsenal. Do you want the lineups?
So just going back to the story about the Wolves Patricio wearing number 11. It seemed to remind me of wasn't there a player? Was it Zamorano for Inter Milan all those years ago when he wore 9+1 or was it Ronaldo?
It was 1+8.
1+8 or something on the back of his shirt. And it was like because somebody already had the number 9 shirt already. I
can't remember who it was, but yeah.
In the league, he wore number 18, but in the Champions League, there was a plus sign between the 1 and the 8 to make it 9. I am really busy about shirt numbers, if anyone doesn't know, and I'm a bit of a purist. So 1 to 11 should be in the starting lineup, and it really depends on position. I go with the old school Championship manager. I want my back four to be left back number 3. So from left to right. 3-5-4-2. Some people go with 3.
No. You're wrong, Gav. 4 centre midfield, old school.
No,
I agree. I agree with David. 5 and 6 are centre back.
Yeah. 5 and 6 are
2, 3, 5, 6. Your back 4.
Yeah. And then the Dutch, they have number 5 as their left back, and the Brazilians have number 6 as their left back.
Yeah, but Asamoah Gyan played up front for Ghana as number 3. So
right, yes. I get angry.
So we're going to go into this then because, Gyan had number 3. William Gallas had number 10 as a centre-half.
Khaled Foularou is a centre-half for Chelsea, wore number 9.
That's scandalous. That is scandalous. I'm sorry. Gallas wearing number 10, right? That's just as bad. But centre-back wearing number 9, honestly, boils my piss, man. Like, I think
Khaled Foularou wearing number 9 is worse than Gallas wearing number 10.
100%. The Gallas every now and then played in midfield, didn't he? So, like,
I mean,
no, I don't think he played in midfield. He's corrected to midfield, and then didn't come home. I think that's what the issue.
It's a lot better than. At least Gallas was a name as well. Like,
It was, but the fact that you have primarily defenders wearing 9 and 10, and then you have a striker wearing number 3 is just it's just all kinds of wrong.
Another one is Ben Johnson wearing number 8 at right back. Dario Serna is the worst. Right back wearing number 11.
But he did that his whole career as well, didn't he?
I don't like it. Right, there's a substitution for Wolves, and I think
it's what Martin said.
It's Diego Jota has just come on for Dindonga, and so there will be a bit of a shape change.
Yeah, so it looks like it's 3 up top for three up top. Yeah, three up front for Wolves, and looks like they're now matching the shape that we've got. So 3-4-3 here.
And I think we're already looking a lot. I mean, I'm still a little bit behind, but I'm
plus net.
There's
internet providers.
There's been quite a few dangerous Wolves balls into the box already.
There has been. Wolves have been on top this second half. They've definitely come out the traps quite hot.
But of course, by Jota coming on, it means Traore goes out wider, and
that's it. Yeah.
And that's where we've had all the success recently.
And it looks like Arsenal are going to make some changes as well. It looks like AC Maitland-Niles is about to come on. I think we're about to combat that. Interesting. They are taking Kieran Tierney off.
Oh, no, that I did not like that because I think Kieran Tierney's been one of our best players this game.
So, as far as I'm concerned, the way I see this happening is that Maitland-Niles will probably go to right wing back. And then Kolasinac will go to left wing back.
I'm literally a minute behind. These, Gav, you know, it literally makes me feel physically sick. These short goal kicks just because you can. The one that he's just passed to Luiz and it's just gone straight out for a throw in.
Yeah.
What have you gained? What have you gained from taking that goal kick short?
There's no benefit there, is there?
And everyone's doing it just because you can, and it's mind-boggling. Right.
Just because you can situation is also like when you take it centre. Everyone passes it back down. You don't have to.
You don't have
the option to, but now everyone does. You don't have to. You can still pass it forwards.
I've got a question. I'd like to hear Martin's thoughts on this as well. Do you think Adama Traore is getting too big now?
In terms of what? As in his actual physical size?
Yeah, his physical.
No, I don't. No.
Get swole.
No, but all I'm thinking is, like, would he be a little bit more agile if he wasn't as big? All I know is, obviously, Lukaku absolutely ballooned that summer. Not fat, he got massive because the Belgian national team didn't care because it suited their style of play. So when he came back to the Premier League and he was Brock Lesnar, like it was no good for us because that was when everyone used to take the piss out of his first touch. Are you surprised when the guy was moving like a wardrobe, like Papa Bouba Diop, obviously, Traore's still agile and he's got his balance and stuff, but I do just wonder if he was a little bit more slight, would he be even quicker?
Maybe,
I
but
don't
then
think he would. No.
There's some people can carry that weight and still be just as quick, can't they?
Yeah.
Maybe obviously Lukaku, it just didn't quite suit him being that size and still being able to.
Because famously, didn't Traore have like coaching and training from Darren Campbell?
Darren Campbell. I was about he was too quick.
He was too quick. Yeah.
Traore also says. Traore also says he doesn't do a lot of weights.
He doesn't.
Imagine being that hench and just being like, I don't even work out, mate.
What he said.
Woke up like this.
Yeah, I was kind of like feeling kind of cute. Might delete later.
No.
So his target is to get faster. He said in the last couple of weeks, I've been working really hard in the break, and I think I can get faster. I think he's a bit of a freak, to be honest.
Gav and Alex, we're sat here. We're a little bit annoyed. We're a little bit miffed because at the end of the day, we feel that Eddie Nketiah should have just had a free kick there, which would have cleared the lines good and proper. Because
it's been pretty consistent Wolves pressure in this half.
We're just coming up to the hour mark.
Just shown there.
The action areas are coming up on the screen.
Right.
So 7% of the ball has been in the Wolves' final third. 52% in the middle of the park, and Arsenal are receiving a lot of pressure. 41% of the ball has been in the Arsenal third. And Matt Doherty is just taking a throw in. It's trying to get flicked on by Bowley. And Arsenal can't get rid of the ball. We're literally just clearing it now, but I can see the pressure heading back in the Arsenal direction.
It's a free kick on.
I've just seen it. Yeah, that was a free kick all day long.
While we've got a bit of lull in play and we've seen that free kick, right, Gav, especially your thoughts on this. In the last week, certain decisions. Hold on,
isn't it, Alex?
Yeah, it's a referee in general question. The VAR decisions this week, and quite a few of them in the United game today. We know when we started this show, I was so pro VAR, and I was like, it's gonna Gav. Hold on.
VAR.
No, because I said yes, it might slow the game down a little bit, but we're going to get the right decision, and that's all that matters. And it's not happening. First of all, let's go to the letter of the law about handballs at the minute, which when they introduced that rule, dumb. Fair enough, it got us that penalty against PSG in the Champions League, right? Still dumb. Still, it's
still a bad decision. It favoured you, so you're happy for it going in your favour.
Not happy for football.
From a football fan, you are not.
The Lucas handball is it will go down as one of the worst refereeing decisions. But the problem is that is the letter of the law. So Michael Oliver in the VAR, he can't do anything about it. He would have been sat there.
It's the law that needs to be reviewed. The law needs to be reviewed.
But they've already said they're not reviewing it. That's the handball rule going forward next season as well.
It's the same with offside as well, isn't it? Because even if your toenail is offside and it shows up, they're flagging for it.
Well, right. I'm going to come at you with that. I think Cotton's going to have something to say on this as well, because if your toenail is offside, whether it is by half a millimetre, it's offside because you can play the ball with your toenail.
Yeah.
You cannot play the ball with your arm.
What happened today? Exactly.
Okay,
Marcus Rashford.
That's a better example.
We're going to
Rashford was offside
into this tomorrow.
Wolves are in here.
Wolves are in here. Oh, who was that? Was that Johnny?
I think so.
That was
struggling.
No, the Otter. That was the Otter.
I can only see Wolves scoring this. Just consistent pressure now.
So Rashford's got his goals ruled out, right?
Literally been on it for the last 17 minutes of this half. Another cross has gone in, and it's just been picked out by Emi Martinez.
I think I might have to cash out at this point. But yeah, the Rashford offside, right? They literally did their Excel spreadsheets. They drew their lines. They got their magnifying glasses
got their pivot tables out,
and it was a millimetre. But what part of his body that was offside compared to the defender's foot was his elbow? Now, the ball, as a striker,
you cannot play the ball with your arm.
Even if it was accidental, if the ball hit his elbow in the build-up to a goal, it's disallowed. So how is that a goal-scoring part of his body?
How many goals have we seen in the last couple of weeks that have been ruled out for situations like that? 2 in the same day.
Do you know how I knew?
Look, Spurs deserved an equaliser straight after Sander Berge scored. Oh, here we go. It's one. Oh, it's been over the bar. It's been over the bar.
I think I'm going to cash out here.
Wow, it should be 1-1 here. The ball's been pinged over there.
I think the problem is
he's hitting his arm in the face.
No, it's Jota.
Dendoka's literally just it's trying to be cute.
I don't know if he was going to. I will say this: if he was going to bring on a Maitland-Niles? I don't understand why he's left Kolasinac on the pitch and took off Tierney.
Well,
he should have taken off Kolasinac and bring on Tierney into the left side of this of the three at the back, and then bring Maitland-Niles on the left wing back. He was going to do that.
Kolasinac. Obviously, Kolasinac is a lot more
Yeah, I think what you're saying is he can match up physically.
He's built like a centre back. Like he's 6 foot.
But he's not.
He can play it in the centre of the park as well.
He's defensively clueless, though. He's defensively clueless.
If you've got Jimenez backing into Tierney, I've only just seen that Traore chance. Whew. If you
he's got to score that.
If Jimenez is backing into Tierney's a slight frame. He's a pacey.
We need a change here.
But you wouldn't want Traore or Jimenez just hammering at Tierney for the next 30 minutes. So I think it makes sense.
So Alex just said, Arsenal need to change here. What change are you looking at and where?
So I'm probably thinking we might probably go to a back four, bring off probably a centre half, probably Kolasinac, and bring on another midfield player and try and get on the ball a bit more. Because as I say, we're not keeping a hold of the ball, and Ketch's being isolated up front. Wolves are very much on the pressure. We've got to try and take a bit of sting out of the game. And yeah, we're a bit disjointed here, and that's full credit to Wolves for coming out a much better side in this second half, as they seem to be very much this season.
There's not been a situation where David Luiz has been isolated himself at the back.
Well, it was for the yellow card.
The fact that he's on the yellow card now. No, since the yellow card.
Yeah, since the yellow card, yeah.
But the fact that he is on the yellow card, I show concern, and there's every chance that he could get sent off.
Well, surely Traore would have been told to target him. You know, that's probably the first part of the. With that
pace, playing Arsenal for the rest of this season, go for the win. Like, that's it, isn't it? Like,
I would like to see an old school mid-90s Arsenal situation here and just snuff the game out. Take the pressure, that's fine. But
we don't have Dixon Adams. We don't have Dixon Adams, Keown, Seaman, Bold, Winterburn, mate. We don't have them anymore.
Stepanovs, Luzny, Seagon.
Just give him the ball away.
Skilacci.
Me and my friend were talking about this earlier because we were talking about Lindelof's performance and strengthening areas. The problem is, what centre backs are around at the minute? Who could you realistically bring in?
Well, no, you go have a look further down. You have a look further down and bring them up.
I've heard Arsenal after Willy Bolly.
I'll take him all day. I love him.
We were talking about Holgate. Mason Holgate.
He was asked about it the other day in an interview for Wolves TV, and he said, "Yeah, I'd consider going to Arsenal if the whole of the Wolves team and all the Wolves staff and all the Wolves fans came with me."
Lines.
I
literally picked up a free kick here. Say we as the watching fans. It's a free kick for Wolves. And we are on the halfway point of the second half.
So the drinks break's coming soon.
The drinks break's coming very soon.
Probably after this free kick.
Yeah, it's about 35 yards out. About 35
just left us right at centre. Right centre.
Shamutia standing over it. I would like to see him never standing over this, to be honest. He's nowhere near it now. And Shamu is about to run up to this. He's looking over to the left-hand side. He's going to whip this in. No, he's squaring it. Oh, and he's squared it. He squared it to Neves, and it was blocked there. And now Arsenal have an opportunity to break. And it's a free kick. No, free kick. It's given. My God. Wow, that is interesting. I'm looking forward to your analysis on that in a minute's time, boys.
Can I just say one thing? While we're nearly there, right? It's probably 14 degrees in where we're playing at Molineux, right? We're 4 or 5 games back into the restart now. Do we need these drinks breaks?
No,
they're ruining the game. Anyone that is building any momentum in the first 20 minutes of the game, drinks breaks, game over. Your momentum's slowed down. The defending team or the team on the back foot gets a chance to get back into the game when they shouldn't. And for what? What's the temperature there? They don't need a drinks break.
They don't. There are a couple of changes happening now. Well, I imagine the drinks break will happen on the back of this because they haven't had it yet. And yeah, there's drinks break now, and Joe Willock and Hector Bellerin are about to come on. Not quite sure who they're coming on for.
They'll probably come on for, I'd imagine, if it's going like for like, it'll be Suarez and probably Ceballos.
That is a foul on Saka, yeah. He's all over him.
Yeah, it's a drinks break here.
But yeah, drinks breaks, get rid of them, man. It's not Spain.
It's not 40 degrees outside.
That was the theory behind it, wasn't it? It was the theory because we're playing in summer. Everyone's coming back from a 3-month break without any pre-season. We need to give the players.
You're in Wolverhampton. It's not the tropics.
Well, let's be honest. If you're in Wolverhampton, what would normally happen is that if you're playing Bullseye and you're from Wolverhampton, you are going to get a speedboat.
Yeah.
So that tells me it's tropical, and if it's tropical, then therefore you will receive a drinks break.
Yeah.
That's all I'll see it.
Oh.
You all right there, dude? Little man just went into the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Arsenal winning. Yeah, that's it.
Don't tell your dad. His dad's a massive Villa fan and is desperate to make him a Villa fan, but he's not a Villa fan. He is he's clearly shown an affiliation to Arsenal, which is going to hamper him for the rest of his life. Poor kid. He's only just turned 5 years old. Right,
Neto's coming on as well. Neto's coming on for Wolves.
Is coming on. He's come on for Matt Doherty. So
oh wow, they're really going for it.
That is a bold.
I'm being really.
Will now go into the right wing back position, and Neto will go through the middle.
I'm being really stupid here and not cashing out and relying on you boys. To be fair, it was a free bet, so I can't complain too much. But it was
bet responsibly, everybody. By the way,
yeah, fastball kids.
It was a cheeky little £5 free bet on Brighton, which was touch and go. Leeds, Brentford, Arsenal, and then Chelsea later. So. Chelsea-Watford is obvious. It's obviously going to be a Chelsea win, but you say that we said that
upset me a lot. I think they're going to come back and be absolutely.
Oh, I tell you, who upset me midweek. Well, you know who upset me midweek. Leeds at like 2-7 they were, and drew. I thought someone was going to be in trouble.
And just to let you know on the Arsenal changes. So yes, it was Bellerin and Willock who came on for.
I'm trying to. I must have missed it. I think I missed it.
I'll tell you, it was.
Come through yet? We'll come throrough to those in a minute.
It hasn't even come through on there.
Now.
Oh, Maitland-Niles. Oh no, that was 56.
No, that'd be savage. That'd be a
that's not far behind I am. I've just seen Maitland-Niles get subbed off.
No, I think I've just seen Maitland-Niles on the pitch still, I think.
Yeah, he came on for Tierney, didn't he?
Yeah. I don't think they've made the subs yet. I actually don't think they've made them yet.
No, I'm on mine. They haven't. I'm a minute behind.
I don't think they've made them yet.
I don't think they're doing it yet. I think they made him sit down. It's a corner to Wolves. We've got 17 minutes left on the clock. It's Wolves 0, Arsenal 1 at Molineux. Wolves have got a corner.
You're joining us.
Is about to whip this one in.
You're joining us live on Top for a watch long of the Wolves Arsenal game. Martin's just left the stream.
It's got to check who is coming for Arsenal probably. So here we go. Corner. It's very short. I hate short corners.
Pointless.
Short corners never work. Short corners, I can't ever think they ever work.
It's not even that they never work.
That wasn't a short corner because he passed it right into the 6-yard box.
That's fine. That's different. That's catching people like off guard.
Yeah.
When you've loaded the box and you've sent all your centre backs up and you've waited 10 seconds for everyone to get all the way up to the box. And then you play it short, and then it goes back to centre mid, and then it goes back to the keeper. And now you've got to watch your lumbering centre backs. You've got to watch your lumbering centre backs take 25 seconds to get back to the goal. I hate it.
Aubameyang's got real centre forward play right now. That's the foul, surely.
So now we have a bit of respite here for the Arsenal defence. Probably going to be able to make their substitutions now. Welcome back, Martin. By the way, thanks for joining us again there.
Yeah, welcome back. Mate.
I don't know if you did see whilst you were away, they did bring on Pedro Neto.
No, I didn't know. Toilet and child break.
Toilet and child. Here we go. Here's the change. Bellerin and Joe Willock. They're coming on for Saka. Interesting. He has run his socks off today, and he may well have got the winner. Who knows? And who else is coming off? We're just finding out right now.
I think this might signify a bit of a change here in formation.
At this point, would you take a Jose Mourinho shut up shop, take the 1-0 win?
All day. Arsenal don't have that in their locker.
No.
It says it's Suarez who's coming off, who scored that absolute worldie on Wednesday. And there we go. So
which is understandable. I mean, he's still coming back from a long layoff, injury layoff.
Ryan Size has just received his 10th yellow card of the season.
Oh wow!
What is that? That Size?
Yeah, Roman Size.
He's an absolute unit, man. I've only just seen the foul on Aubameyang, and I've seen him walking away like.
Yeah,
my God!
If he was on the doors, of your local boozer,
Alec, what's happened? Why are you looking at Kolasinac?
You'll see. I'm not going to say, but you'll see what he does in a minute, and my head's going about him. God.
Listen, Gav will know Kolasinac. I wanted him on a free, man.
Well, we got him on free. That's one plus side that we can tell.
It seemed like stupid business, man. It seemed like easy money.
And if you get mugged, he's a good person to have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
One thing I'd say about
giving away a free kick again on little Eddie and Ketia.
So what are you saying there, Martin?
Noticed him right in the back, and when you pick up a yellow card, you've got to be so careful.
Yeah.
So Saiss was on. I can't remember the number, but last game he had to avoid a yellow card for a 2-game suspension, and then they were all wiped. I think it might have been 9. I think he might have been on 9. And he was on best behaviour. So if he's going through people today, he's got fresh start.
Yeah, fresh start. Fair enough. That's why you've got.
But he's been our unsung hero. Absolutely.
Roman Size.
It was whipped in by Dave Splice, and it's just been his header from Eddie and Ketia, and it's just gone over the bar. It still remains 1-0 Arsenal. There are 12 and a half minutes left.
Probably about 15, 16 minutes left with injury time. There's been no
breaks.
Oh, Arsenal just pickpocketed there. And Ketia. Oh, deflected and it's come out wide to Aubameyang, who's looking to see who's in the box. He's playing it square to Xhaka.
Did you, Cotton, did you see what that little thing that Kolasinac did, where he just literally he just passed it straight to the Wolves player?
Yeah.
My head goes about him. I just don't. I think he's too stiff as a football player. He's a bit too stiff.
You and Kolasinac is like Wes and Xhaka. Wes and Xhaka. Woo.
Wow. So Maitland-Niles has just received a yellow card, and I think it's quite harsh here.
Mark Oliver's having some strange decisions.
Maitland-Niles just won the ball. It was no shot the ball by his He's come on the side.
He's come on the side, but he's won the ball.
He's won the ball off Jean Moutinho, and a yellow card's been given. Alex is not a very fan of that.
Gav,
maybe it's a foul, but yellow.
Would you agree that Michael Oliver's the best official in the Premier League?
I would say so. Normally, I would say so.
And the soundest guy in refereeing.
But
at the top flight I've ever met.
I think the fact that he is the best is pretty like indicative of.
It's not. I was going to say
officiating is like.
Yeah.
He's not a bad referee, but for him to be the very best by a clear margin,
he has been the very best by a clear margin for the past. Since Clattenburg retired, well, not retired, but moved.
Oh, hold on! I've just seen that Maitland-Niles. He wins the ball. It's a bit scissory.
That's it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's probably a foul. I don't know if I'll give him a yellow card because he's won the ball.
Little bit scissory.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is?
Fair.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
No, I do.
I tell you what. Do you know what?
He didn't go for it.
Gav, do you know why he's been booked? Because he's lost the ball. He's been bounced off it by Traore, and it just looks like a reactionary.
challenge. That's it. Yeah,
that's
it. Yeah.
And it looks like he's
frustration.
Yeah, he's pissed off that he's just been bounced off the ball twice, and he's gone in the side of him.
Yeah.
If that happens in the middle of the pitch with no previous, probably just a free kick. But it just
at the most.
It looked petulant. Like that's all it was.
Gav, so if I haven't noticed the linesman. Is this a Stuart Burt game then?
Yeah, Bertie. Yeah, Stu Burt, Northamptonshire match official. He is currently running the left back of the Arsenal back four currently.
Because a friend of mine, my daughter goes to school with him. So
there you
not
go.
with him.
There you go. Northampton links.
Yeah.
And
good
that was
He did sound like you were doing that. Banter from Cotton. That's good. I've got a lot of time for that.
It's just a reaction thing. I was like, excited.
What we're talking about, want to say, talking about the drinks breaks and momentum. Ever since the drinks breaks, that's broken Wolves' momentum a bit in this game. It's now become really scrappy. It's become really scrappy in this, and you've yet to kind of find your rhythm back after that. Whether it's going to come back in these last 10 minutes, you probably got to think that they will do. It's certainly become bitty and scrappy now, which, as an Arsenal, looking at it from an Arsenal point of view, I'll happily take that. But yeah, that drinks break has kind of ruined your momentum you had in the the game.
And Arsenal are now starting to play that classic 1997-98. Let's just slow the game down. Not seen this from Arsenal for many a year. Just going to the Pokal, we're 7 minutes into that game. It's Bayer Leverkusen 0, Bayern Munich 0, and Bayern Munich are on the front foot, good and proper right now. But Leon Bailey is about to clear it.
Okay, so we're making a couple of...
He's come back. Here we go. Oh, no, it's a corner now. It's a corner to Bayer Leverkusen, Bayern Munich. They were literally about to get rid of the ball.
So Arsenal are about to make a couple of substitutions as well now. It looks like Andre Lacazette and Lucas Torreira is actually coming on. Looks like Danny Ceballos and Eddie Nketiah coming off. So, again, looking to shore it up in the middle of the park here with 10 minutes plus injury time to...
And then
to go.
Just to hold the ball up at the top there. Enrique Gallardo, thanks for watching. I don't know what that says. If you can have that, if you can translate that into Ongletarian for us, I would really appreciate it. In the meantime, I'm going to try and Google what that says.
And then we find out it means something really offensive.
Yes. It really does.
So, Martin, you're Wolves manager now. What are you looking at? Who are you looking at on your bench to come on and try and rescue something from this game for Wolves? What are you looking to do here?
Well, we don't have a lot of strength in depth, so we bring on Traore normally. We bring on Neto. I don't think there's anything else on the bench to bring on. I think he puts his trust in a small number of players, and I think we will again. And we won't make many more changes.
Yeah, I really do think the drinks break has just killed all momentum you've built up.
Now, I'm watching this game live, and I can't see anything happening at the moment, but Christian Mendes has just commented and said, "Goal!" And I'll just put the Pokal back on. It's still 0-0.
I think we're getting big enough now that we're starting to get trolls on the channel.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think that's good.
Goal! Golazo! But there's no goal here, Christian Mendes. Thank you very much. You got me excited for no reason, and I'm now really annoyed with you, Christian Mendes.
Yeah, do you want a really stinky stat about goals?
Oh yes,
please do.
Stinky stat.
Alexander Lacazette has one more Premier League goals this season than Mason Greenwood, and he has 7 Premier League starts. Mason Greenwood.
Look,
Yeah.
look.
Right. Me and Gav disagree on Andre Lacazette, or lack of fraud, as I like to call him.
My missus sided Alex massively.
Hold on, before you know that I loved Lacazette, and I was very worried when he left Lyon to go to Arsenal, and I was like, here we go. The last thing we need is another 30-goal-a-season striker at Arsenal. So you know my opinions on how much I liked him.
Yeah. His style has changed. Considering that he is no taller than me, which is mad because I'm not very tall. However, his hold-up play, his link-up play, touch. Lacazette! Just hold there. Lacazette. I'm just about to talk about Lacazette right now.
So he's too.
I'm just about to talk about him. Bang!
Hey, that's my bet. That's my bet.
Do you not cash out?
Nice.
Lacazette. His hold-up play is strong. I done just said that a second ago. I'm just so unprofessional.
Waiting for it.
You did. Gav has gone absolutely street on us.
I'll wait.
No, look. Touch out of the feet. He's so kind of Cody down.
But right, can I just say that? How often does he do? He doesn't do it nearly often enough.
The opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
I've not seen it yet.
Nice guys, out your feet. Thank you very much for coming.
Martin, in case you haven't realised,
it's coming now. I think
Arsenal just scored.
Chris.
Just seen it.
He's giving it large now.
Cody was a bit.
Well, if
can I just say one thing?
Well, that's what I say. Right, my missus is now piping up.
Yeah.
Alex is piping up. This is a thing that he does.
Can we just ask Christian Mendes for the lottery numbers, please?
It's not even a shot on target. It's not even a shot on target, though. They've had it.
No.
Have they barred it?
No, it's not. No, it's just something else has happened since. It's just happened since they scored the goal.
It should be 3-0.
It should be 3-0. It should be 3-0.
Your little arm on his shoulder was such a Souness Carragher hand on me.
Henri Carragher. Henri Carragher. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I was like,
if you don't know, Gav and Alex are in the same room.
Well, we've got time traveling.
All professional, but we got.
Hold on. Alex, put your hand on Gav's shoulder. Hold on. No, it doesn't work. I'm trying to get.
What are you trying to do?
Oh,
yeah.
Martin, put your right arm out. Put your right arm out. Alex, put your left.
The wall's in the way.
It's the wrong one. We'll sort it out for another side.
And yeah, it should have been 3-0 there as well.
It should have been 3, but this is the first win against Wolves.
Whoa! Steady now.
Aye.
He hasn't seen the second goal yet. He doesn't know it's in the bag.
No, it is, but
it's still 0-0 on Martin's feed.
Yeah, it is.
But
there's at least like 7-8 minutes left yet.
You know the rule. 2-0 was to pay out.
Yeah, 2-0.
Yes. So I'm hoping for a comeback. I've got Arsenal actually.
There's a substitution as well by Wolves. Gibbs White has come on for João Moutinho. But there's nothing left in the locker.
Talking about youngsters then, Martin. What are your thoughts on Gibbs White? Because he was part of that under-17s England team that won the World Cup a few years ago. I'm surprised he hasn't been given many more chances. But from obviously somebody who watches Wolves on a consistent basis, can you sort of shed any light as to why that might be? Is he not as good as maybe he potentially we're led to believe, or is there something else there? What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I mean, he stalled a bit. Obviously, when you've got Neves and Moutinho in the team, it's tough.
What's Gibbs White's best position? Is it in the middle of the park or is it wide?
I think it's in the middle, but probably he likes to push on a bit. There was talk he was out the door, because I don't know if you know, he during lockdown he was videoed with some people from Love Island having a party.
As you do.
And there was a lot of people thought that was it, but he's been given another chance. He's still a young lad, though, anyway.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I think he could do with going on loan somewhere for a year.
Where should he go? Should he go to a top end who's like challenging for promotion, championship side?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I think so. Side? But I think somewhat, top 6 championship team. But with a guarantee, you can't have a guarantee, but you need him to play. He needs to play every week.
Yes, yeah, he does indeed. To certainly to try and fulfil some of that potential, he's certainly shown early doors.
But
hold on. There has been a goal in Bayern Munich, Bayern Leverkusen.
And Bayern are leading 1-0. There's a comment there from Aaron Ross up the Rangers. Aaron, I can't get involved in. I just need to let you know I can't get involved in the draft right now because I'm currently live on Facebook and YouTube for top. There has been a goal. It's Sober's challenge on Leverkusen. On Lewandowski. And it's a free kick just on the edge of the box. And that's a nice free kick.
That's a nice free kick. I've just seen it over Gav's shoulder. Just one for you as well, Cotton. Xhaka yellow card. Just got booked, so he went flying.
Anymore,
it was his 8th one of the season, so he's less than size. But I think he's kind of. I think
why I don't understand why his haven't been wiped though, because size has been wiped.
I think I just think it means that you cut, because I think, as you say, once you get to 10 yellow cards, it's usually a suspension. But as you said, when you get to this point of the season, you don't get then. Like, if you're in the semi-final now of a tournament and you're on a yellow card, you get another yellow and you don't get penalised by this.
Yeah.
I remember when I was refereeing and I did this game and there was a lad who was playing, and the next game was a league game, but the game after that was the cup final. And oh my God, the king of shithousery, he was literally running around, like chopping people, but it's a Sunday morning game. I was like, I'm not going to give him a booking for that. But he carried on going. I was like, do you know what? Screw it. Bang, yellow card up your nose. And he was like, and he turned around to me, he goes, thanks, ref. I've been asking for that for ages. And then for the rest of the game, he didn't do anything. And after the game, he comes up to me, and goes, I was pretty much begging you to book me just so I missed the league game, so I was fit and free for the Sixfields final.
All right, David Beckham. All right, David Beckham. That's naughty, that is.
What a lad.
Ramos got clocked for that last season, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He got a Thomas man in there, didn't he?
Yeah.
Brilliant. What are you showing me there, Alex?
Well, someone tweeted that they thought that Ainsley Maitland-Niles should have been given a red for that challenge, and I was like, my head's kind of almost felt like I was going to get triggered for that, but I managed to.
The one that we said was the scissory one.
Yes.
Yeah, the one that Bear in mind, I am the first person to say I'd be like, no, that is a yellow ball.
Xhaka's
challenge is more of a red.
Yeah. He flew into that. He flew into that, didn't he? And that was definitely that one's one of those where if it's not a yellow, if it's not quite a red card, it should be like a card in between, almost sort of thing.
If you were
the old classic orange card.
Yeah.
If you were a professional gambler with
old gold
expendable income, you
gold card. Yeah.
Imagine a grand this weekend on Lerma and Xhaka to be booked. That's printed money. If you had a mortgage, right? But
surely the odds aren't very good.
Lerma was like 5-1 today to get carded.
What?
Yeah, hold on. One of my friends Let's have a look. Someone sent it to me.
So it looks like Arsenal are actually going to come away with the 3 points. I'm really surprised at this.
And the clean sheet. Unless something changes here, Darwin Troy is snapped out there.
This is Arsenal's first away win against
27 years
against the top side in the league this season. I think they put up, didn't they? Was that the graphic they put up, wasn't it?
Yeah, away wins against teams in the top half, obviously, when they're facing them.
Yeah.
This season, it'll be our first victory. So, I mean, it's been a great run for Wolves. I mean, it was probably going to come to an end someday, but didn't expect it to be today. Yeah.
I had my suspicions, to be fair.
I genuinely didn't. Arsenal.
I think it just goes to show that form counts for a lot. But then Wolves have been in pretty decent form as well. So, yeah, I expect Wolves to bounce back in your next game. And there you go. There's the final whistle.
Final whistle.
Away at Sheffield United.
Listen,
you got Sheffield United
away. Yeah.
Away. So I mean that'll be a tough game. It was Sheffield United are going to be buoyed after that win against Spurs midweek. But I would kind of be surprised. I'm surprised that Adama Traore started this game because it looks like he just went away from what's been working for you guys in the last couple of games with him coming on and providing that sort of extra impetus against tired teams. But Nuno,
he normally starts away, and
which is it's understandable.
Top two, yeah,
it's understandable because if you're playing away, the home team usually are the ones who would be trying to be on the front foot. So you got spacing behind. But credit to Arsenal. They managed to ride it out.
It's quite a dull game, though, wasn't it?
Shocked.
It wasn't a great game. No, it wasn't a great game.
How much you win?
I can cash out now for 80 off my £5 free bet, or if Chelsea beat Watford, it's 120. So I'm just going to see what.
Is that the game that's coming up next? Is it?
Yeah.
Yes,
it is.
Right. Chelsea let me down good and proper the other day, so be careful.
The thing is,
you
look at that game. Were the two goals? I think one of the goals, especially the Lacazette one, I think the defending for the first goal is a little bit hit and miss. But I think just a little bit difference in quality has shown, and there was the two decent chances. Wolves had chances but didn't have anyone want to finish them, sort of thing. And have you had, other than when it could have been 3-0, did you have any really other clear-cut chances other than the two?
No, and
not
this is
really.
the thing. This is something that Arsenal have not been able to. The last time I saw Arsenal grind out a genuine victory was against Man City about 5 years ago when they went out to the Etihad and won 2-0. I've not seen Arsenal grind out a victory. That there is how Chelsea used to grind out results.
Yeah.
That's how United just grind out results. Arsenal were nowhere near good enough quality-wise to get a victory today, but did everything, all the dogged work, all the niggly, biggly stuff, and went out there and got themselves a victory. I'm very, very shocked. I'm very, very shocked that Arsenal got a result there. So I'm happy. I'm very happy. Little man's happy. It's 5 last week. He got a 2-0 win away to Wolves. He is happy.
I would say as well, the Lacazette touch to set himself up for the goal. I know, was it Cody that probably went in a little bit too early?
Yeah, it was Cody. Yeah.
Yeah, the touch is still really nice. He knows what he's doing, getting it away from the defender with a touch, and then finishes.
I think. Here's the thing I think about Lacazette. I just think he would be better suited in a less physical league. For me,
yeah, France, yeah, that's exactly, yeah. Back to Leon.
Yeah. Or even if you went to say Italy, I think he'd probably do bits in Italy, to be fair.
The Premier League is too physical for someone like Lacazette to score 25, 30 goals a season. But in terms of what he brings to the game, I think that Lacazette is good enough to do it. And it's
not for the money that we've spent on him. Not for the money we've spent on him.
Yeah, but that's the money. The money side of it isn't necessarily the be all and end all. You can't blame Arsenal.
But it is because it stops you from then investing in other areas.
No, I'll tell you what. Do you know what? Do you know what?
Arsenal spent £50 million on him.
No.
A player that turn around and say, "This is my transfer fee. Buy me."
The thing is, Arsenal kind of shut the bed because they hadn't spent any money, big money on signings in like a decade, and they broke their transfer record for Lacazette, who must have been thinking, Jesus, I'm king of the world, like they want me that badly, that a team that hardly spends has brought me. And what was it, 6-9 months later? And they
That's it. That's mean that they went and spent it on Aubameyang.
And it's like you're not even going to be the number one striker anymore. For all we know, their contract negotiations could have been: you're going to be number 9. You're going to come and be the striker for this club. You can be the next Henry. And then 9 months later, you see a geezer that's been scoring 30 goals a season in a tough league. They buy him for more money than they brought you. Straight away, you're thinking, well, there's me gone then. Out wide I go, and that's what they've been doing to us. And unless you can play Aubameyang and Lacazette up front together, then I just don't think. Same like I was saying earlier with Greenwood. Okay, they can play out wide, but you can't just waste them for the whole season just playing him out. You can't play Lacazette out wide for 38 games. It's a waste. It's a waste.
Yeah.
It's a waste of having a creative winger on there, and it's a waste of having a decent striker out on the wing. It's a double-edged waste, basically.
Well, I think it's one or the other. And I think we'll see something in the summer where I reckon probably Lacazette is probably going to be off. I think
Lacazette is going to be used as a bit of a make weight for the Thomas Partey deal. And I've got no issue with that. Because then Arsenal have got options up front, but in the middle of the park they are so limited. And one player in particular who could benefit from being in the middle of the park for Arsenal is Thomas Partey. Whether that happens or not, I'm not sure. But Martin, not the result that you were looking for. You thought it was going to be 2-1. I thought it was going to be 2-0. But I thought it was going to be to Wolves. Your next game you've got on Wednesday night. You've got Sheffield United away, who will be very buoyed by the Spurs victory. They've got a game tomorrow against Burnley, I believe. And then Wolves have also got Everton next weekend. What are Everton? They've got Burnley, Palace. Chelsea away last day.
Chelsea away last day. For a Champions League place.
That could be a pivotal game for Wolves. And
for Chelsea.
Do you think that this result will really hurt Wolves?
No, I don't. No, it's. I said to you earlier when we talked about the prediction, I went 2-1 Wolves because I don't predict against Wolves. But I didn't fancy it today. I think everything's been so perfect. We're top of the form table. We've smashed Arsenal every time we've played them pretty much recently.
Yeah, whether the scoreline suggests it or not, you've battered Arsenal every time.
And I said to you, didn't I, Gav? I said to you the word revenge. The Arsenal players are not happy with Wolves. They've got a bit of something to redress, and to be fair, I don't think we played well. I don't think. I mean, Jimenez wasn't in the game. Whether that Arteta's done a brilliant job, and he's got the formation right and he's got the tactics right, stopped us playing, or we had a bad day. I don't know.
It's probably a mixture of all those things.
There.
To be fair,
yeah,
probably a mixture of all those things. To be fair,
yeah.
Wolves slightly off their game. I think we've come to spoil a party a bit and try and nick a couple of goals, or certainly a goal, and we've done that. And yeah, it's just kind of worked out. Oh, I still think that drinks break in the second half, as Cotton alluded to.
Yeah,
it's massively ruined your momentum.
But I think tonight does help us though, because one thing we do is when we do lose, we tend to win the next game. We tend to.
Your bounce back ability, I like to call it, is pretty good.
It's pretty good within the game.
Many times that Wolves have lost to or even 3 or even 2 since you've come back into the Premier League. I can't think of any, if many, times you've done that.
I mean, let's remember as well. I mean, I say remember. It's not obvious, but the only team that have lost more games this season in the league are Liverpool. We've lost less games than Man City. We've lost less games than Leicester. I don't know if we've gone level today. I can't remember.
No,
but
I was just about to say. The only problem is it's a great result for Arsenal, but it might not be too bad for Wolves because Leicester have still won, United have still won. So even though you've lost to Arsenal, it's not terribly bad in the scheme of things because everyone's kind of stayed in the same place. No one's really zoomed off from anyone else. Or
we've lost 3 points.
I think Wolves losing today is
we've lost 3 points
more because Leicester won and because Man United won. If Wolves won today,
I tell you what, the big losers of today are Chelsea because, as I say, Leicester and Man United have both won, and Chelsea losing the other day has meant that everyone's kind of bunched up, and Leicester have just kind of
Chelsea have fallen out of the top 4 with that today. So I know that Chelsea are about to kick off in the next half an hour. But if Wolves had won that game today, that would have put them on 55 points, level on points with Man United as they were before the game started today. And only goal difference would have been separated them. Man United's goal difference is an absolute joke.
Obviously, it's bad they dropped the points. But like Alex said, what I meant was it's. Now everyone has bunched up. It isn't the end of the world for Wolves. So it's still.
Oh, I got you.
United and Leicester can still drop points next week, and Wolves get a win, and it's still. And everyone's.
Arsenal. Leicester go to play Arsenal on Tuesday at the Emirates. So with Arsenal in the form they're in.
Don't forget, Leicester have got to go to Arsenal, and they've got to come to United as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, well, Leicester's running is probably the hardest. For any team that is trying to get a top 4 situation, I say Leicester's and Arsenal's, their opportunities to try and get into the top 4, and especially with their form of late. Yes, they picked up a victory on today, which you'll be able to hear back tomorrow at 11 a.m. on Facebook and on YouTube. Myself. I'm Gav Mack, if you don't know already, and then you've got Alex Osborne and Adam Harrell all on tomorrow morning. We're all going to be breaking down the games that happened today and looking forward to the fixtures for Sunday. Leicester's running isn't very nice. They have got Arsenal on Tuesday, and now Arsenal being in form at the moment, and Arsenal going to be playing at home. I know that there's no fans, but there is change that can make that happen. Then you've got Bournemouth versus they've got Bournemouth away. I've just lost Alex for a second, but he's in the same room as me, so it's no major. And then Leicester have also got Sheffield United. We are closing the schedule very soon anyway, so no problem. And then Spurs away, and then Man United at home on the last game of the season.
But Gav, what I would say is, other than Sheffield United, I don't think a team have had a worse start to the restart than Leicester. Every game they've played, they've looked super flat. They should have beat Watford with the last-minute Ben Chilwell goal and conceded in the 99th plus 7,000 minutes. That they haven't looked good, and I really think Leicester are one of those teams that are so buoyed off the back of the fans being there and pushing them forward that when they've got no one in the ground, they're just flat. When they need that extra, I know they've won today, but for the rest of the games, when they need that extra push or to get into that next gear, they just haven't seemed to have it, and they've just been so mediocre that I would almost guarantee that Leicester don't finish in the top 4 this season.
Yeah, I think they will now. I think they will now.
Oh, go on, Martin.
I think we needed to win today, so we closed the gap on them to 3 points, and then they've won today and we haven't. So they're 6 points ahead of us now, and I think it's taken them time to get back in. I think they will finish top 4. I think they'll finish 4th. I think United will finish 3rd, and I think it's. Might be a shootout between us and Chelsea for 5th.
I was going to say, Chelsea win today puts them a point behind Leicester. So either way, I personally don't see Leicester. I think they'll drop off. And if they've got to play Arsenal and United, if they lose both of those games, I know that's a massive ask. But if they lose both of those games, we would leapfrog them, and they would fall. They would, and their form since the restart hasn't shown me any reason that they'll get much. If Leicester can go into those Arsenal and United games, I know they're a few weeks apart, but if you said to them you could get 2 points coming out of them 2 games at the minute, I think they'd take it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they'd take the draw each.
The last week of the season is amazing because we've got it's Chelsea versus Wolves and it's Leicester versus Man United or the other way around.
I know that is from a neutral point of view. That's exactly what you want.
And we'll know the Man City verdict.
Anything can happen,
yeah.
But
obviously, of course, because if City get bounced, then top 5 gets Champions League.
Well, they have been.
Yeah.
As it stands, 5th place is Champions League. It's about the appeal, isn't it? Which I think is in the next week to 10 days. But we're going into the last week of the season with lots of teams involved in Champions League.
Yeah, that's good. It's good.
And I think what we're going to have. I mean, Arsenal play well today, and I don't think if Arsenal really get the form going, then they can sneak into it. But I don't think they will. Personally, I think that they just were too far behind. And I think the last game of the season.
I think the fact that Arsenal lost to Brighton, that has screwed everything up. Because to be honest, if Arsenal had beaten Brighton, that's an extra 3 points. That would have been added to the situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's have a look at the table. I haven't got it on the screen for people to see, but if we discuss it from here, we can chat about it. So obviously, we all know that Liverpool have won the title. We know this. They're on 86 points. They've got 6 games.
Not in my household, they haven't. Not in my household, they haven't.
Not in your household, they haven't.
No, this season got null and void in my household.
Yeah, it is null and void. And then Man City are second, and I think they're going to be happy and run away with second spot on 66 points. Leicester are in 3rd place on 58 points. Man United in 4th place on 55 points. Chelsea a game behind, as we said. They're kicking off in 20 minutes against Watford. They're in 5th place on 54 points. Wolves in 6th. Gap has tightened, 52 points. Arsenal in 7th. On 49. Now, if Arsenal had beaten Brighton that day, that then puts them level on points, and they would be above Wolves. On goal difference, even if it was by 1 goal, because the superior goal scored. Then Arsenal would only then be points behind a Champions League spot.
Absolutely.
Ifs and buts, though, isn't it? Ifs and buts.
It is all ifs and buts. It is all.
Yeah, I know it's ifs and buts, and that's what football is. It's crazy, but
we shouldn't have lost to Bournemouth back in January, when it was that horrible wet day on the coast, and Josh King scored the scrappiest goal. Scooby-Doo would have been proud of how scrappy that was. It was that bad.
That's why I miss Cotton Ball. You love the old analogy.
If you, honestly, looking at the table now, and honestly, I mean this not condescending or no disrespect. Wolverhampton Wanderers are in 6th place behind Liverpool, Man City, Leicester, Man United, and Chelsea. That is, even if you finish the season in 6th, that's a very, very, very good season. Is it not?
We were 7th last year, so it's an improvement.
No, exactly. No, but it's so good that people still call Tottenham a big club. They're 9th. Sheffield United, another breaking out season at 8th. But then you've got Everton, you've got Newcastle, you've got teams like that are solidified Premier League clubs that are nowhere near you guys. I honestly think no matter what happens, that Wolves this season yet again can hold their head up high, because
it's been amazing. Yeah.
What's easy to forget with Wolves is as well, you've played 33 games in the Prem, but you've played 787 games this season in the Europa League. And it's
True. And you've been nice and local with all of them as well.
Your season started this time last year.
Yeah, that's the thing.
If Wolves make it to the Europa League final, their season would have been a 13-month season.
Yeah. And like Martin said earlier, they don't have a huge squad. They use the same set of players pretty much every other game day. So to have to play 60 games a season and then have a 3-month break and then come back, honestly, I think it's Nuno should be
next
up there.
Season could be a worry.
Klopp will win it, but Nuno, if there's a top 3, Nuno should be up there in contender for a podium finish for Manager of the Year.
With Chrissy Wilder, we're saying.
Well, I thought it should have been last year.
Yeah, with Chrissy Wilder.
First season back in the Prem, we came 7th. We beat pretty much every top 6 team.
You did at least once, I'm sure. I'm not sure you beat every top 6 team at least once.
We beat Liverpool in the cup.
I don't know if they beat. Did they beat Man City last? I don't think they did.
Last year. Oh no, done the double over them this year. I know that much.
Yeah.
But
who hasn't?
I just want to get the bottom of the table. I just want to get the bottom of the table up very quickly. What's our Everton knocking around there? And then Norwich at the bottom. We're gonna be reviewing the
Villa,
tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. But I just wanted to get the bottom of the table up anyway. It's just
Bournemouth are good. I think
Bournemouth are doomed, man. Bournemouth are doomed.
Bournemouth, Norwich are definitely down. Bournemouth, I think, are pretty much down as well.
Wasn't today pretty much not mathematically, but today Norwich, because they're running and stuff, that is pretty much like done deal.
Their remaining games, they only get 36 points. But consider that they've only won 5 games all season up to this point. That's not going to happen.
Remember when everyone was so gassed off Timu Pukki scoring like 7 goals in the first 10 games or whatever? Like, where is he?
He scored 7 goals all season.
I say, where is he now? Like, it's.
But he wasn't playing, was he?
No, I almost swore there. But it's awful that someone has to be the whooping boy of the league every year. But someone does have to be. And when they came up, they didn't really look to strengthen too much. They didn't spend a lot of money.
I was listening to an article that about Norwich, and Norwich were expecting to come into the Premier League not this season, but next season. They were looking at growing and then building on their Premier League status. What happened came way too early. It came 2 seasons too early. And now they're going to go back down this season, but I don't think they should be worried.
But how awful is it that we're now looking at it as a business plan rather than a business model and a business plan
it's also motive at the same time, so if you peak too early, you will get shot down. So there is no issue and no harm in them being right. We've got to here now. Let's do what we can. And then let's move forwards in a couple of years' time and stay here, run with it, and see what happens.
Right. So, but the thing is, you got the 2 trains of thought. So Sheffield United didn't really strengthen when they came up, but like we were saying earlier with team cohesion and stuff like that, they've done really well. But then you look at other teams. Norwich had got promoted and didn't want to spend the money, and they're rock bottom of the table now. Not Premier League related, but also hometown represent. So obviously Cobblers have just been promoted. They released 13 players, was it? Now, you've just been promoted from League 2 to League 1. Do you put all your eggs in one basket and back the club financially and buy players to make sure that you stay up or push for maybe another promotion? Or do you go, it's a payday, whether we get relegated, we get the parachute payments. So do you just go up and do bare minimum and come back down, and either way you're making money? That's the fine line of it. What would you do if you were Cobblers right now? What would you do?
Well, League 1 is such a weird situation, whether half the clubs in League 1 have got aspirations of being in the Championship to go forwards and hopefully in the Prem. And the other half of League 1 are, we've got a 7,500 seater stadium. We're just
We
going
don't
to
want
try
to get relegated. Yeah,
more times and try and get a little bit further forward. Now, look, Cobblers, I see Northampton Town going straight back down. We've got a little comment.
me too. I'm not going to lie.
Just become an established League One side.
Cobblers' ambition needs to. Can we build that stand to make it?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, we do have that. We do have that little asterisk next to it. Like, yeah, we do want to build that stand, but let's not forget the chairman ran away with 15 million 2 years ago and nearly got the club liquidated. So the fact that
and almost put the town as a whole into disrepute.
Yeah, exactly. So the fact that we're still kicking around and getting promoted is wonderful. But I think now Calvin Thomas obviously has a bit of money to invest, and I think that's the case. So I think to let 13 players go as well, there must be quite a few signings on the horizon. Now, whether they will be journeymen or youth team players,
there'll be a lot of loans coming in.
But yeah, hopefully.
Ronnie alone from the top clubs. And there's a comment from Pedro Hernandez and Kien Vagandango, which I believe is who's winning. And who's winning? Arsenal won 2-0 against Wolves. Hey, look, just to let you know, for the whole show, we've been live for now 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Hold on, Gav, can I just ask you a question on that, on the live thing?
Go on in.
I mean, do we stick around for the Chelsea game?
No, I've got family, mate.
Oh, fair enough.
Hey, look, I'm gonna be watching it. I'm gonna be watching it, but like at the same time, I've got to put little man like that, little man and stuff, and like I've got to show a little bit of attention to the missus. Otherwise, I'll be. This will be the last thing I ever wear. I'm sure that our WhatsApp group will be popping off. Because there'll be stuff going on in there. And I also know that Martin's dinner's ready as well, so he needs to disappear as well. Hey, look, I just want to say, before everybody goes, underneath for the whole time going, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all at Two Up Top Football. Also, put Two Up Top Football or just Two Up Top into Google, and our name comes up. And you'll be able to watch all the videos we've done from the beginning to the end. You'll be able to comment on anything that we've done on Twitter, Instagram, whatever. We have shows on regularly, especially on a Thursday where we do our top five. So you can throw your £2 worth into our decision of our top five. And if you want to give an idea to us on what you'd like to give the top five on, throw that in there as well. That's what I would say. But yeah, you know, everyone, thank you for your support. There's been loads of people on today. There's been loads of people throwing their £2 worth in as well. And I absolutely love it. And I feel so like Kevin Keegan right now. And I would love it. But on the YouTube in particular, I have to say, anyone that is watching this on YouTube, anyone who comments on YouTube, please like it. If you're watching it and you're enjoying it, don't just watch it and enjoy it. Just give it a little like and then subscribe to the channel, because by doing that, it helps us change the domain name from youtube.com/ to youtube.com/ Top Football, which is so important to us, and we really need that. So everyone who's been watching, boys, if you just hang around there 1 second, but for me and the boys, myself, Gav Mack, Martin Lewis, Alex Osborne, Stephen Cotton.
Big thank you to both Stephen and Martin for joining us on this. We really do appreciate it. Great chat with you guys. Hopefully we can do this again soon for another game in the future.
There'll be more games, I'm sure. More games.
There's plenty to go. Plenty to go. And the season's going to start again soon after as well. But thank you very much, and ta-ra.